Good morning and welcome to the Top Flight Show. I'm Rich Morell and it's half marathon season. Yes, stage 9 of the Top Flight series for 2025. We're going to be live from Cheshire for a half marathon ding dong, and what a field we've got lined up for you guys this morning. But before we get into the bones of the race, I need to introduce my co-host in the studio with me this morning, the artist formerly known as the bad boy of British athletics, now donning himself as the Renaissance man. It is Mr. Cameron Boyer. Cam, it's a pleasure to have you with me.
Thanks
what an intro as well.
Yeah.
What an intro.
He's been practicing that in the mirror this morning.
No, just for the past 5 hours, mate. I've been up since 3 in the morning. Cam, good to have you in the studio. How's it going?
Yeah, good. It's good. It's good to be back, actually, isn't it? Because I missed the last one, didn't I?
You did, yes, you did indeed.
Well, I missed the podcast, didn't I? I took a last-minute flight out, didn't I, to Germany? So.
And I think we'll get into your accolades over the track season a bit later as we get through the show. Because, I mean, you're a 3:34 man now.
Feels weird to say that, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It's phenomenal. But we'll have a chat about that as we get through this show. Like I mentioned, so stage 9 of the Top Flight series, Cheshire Half Marathon. Before we get into who we've got racing, let's have a flick over to our series standings. Let's see who's sitting at the top and who could potentially be jostling around for position this morning. So we can see there, Ben Connor currently sat at the top, 68 points. He's had 2 wins and he had a second place, that battle with Phil Sessman down at Battersea Park there. And he's tracked closely by Omar Ahmed, who is racing today. Cam Omar he's rocking a quick PB of 62.15, so we'd fancy him to pick up some points today, wouldn't we?
Absolutely, and I think, to be honest, we were just talking about the course record, which we'll get onto in a second, but, 62 and a bit, 62.14 for his PB this year as well. He's run under 63, which incidentally is under the course record too. Yeah. So I think, but given his season's best, we could be in for a course record.
Absolutely, yeah, it's one to watch out for. Back to the series standings, we'll have a look at the ladies' fixtures there. So we've got Alex Bell, again, sitting at the top there, 50 points. She's had 2 emphatic victories, Aintree and Battersea Park, and that Battersea Park 5K that she rocked round in 15:44, I think it was, ridiculously quick time. She's closely followed by Brogan Wallace there. Neither of those athletes are competing today, but we do have Heather Townsend and Poppy Tank in there. So that'll be a debut for both of them in the Top Flight Series for 2025, and they'll be looking to get some points posted on the board, Cam.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a perfect time to be coming out. We've got 4 fixtures left. You've got 3 fixtures to be able to score the points on the board and try and get some of that prize money in December. I think it's a smart move for them to come out and get something on the board. Like I say, Alex is at the top of the standings at the minute with 2 unbelievable victories. And I think, to be honest, the competition's only going to get harder as the time goes on. So I think it's a good decision to come out now and get a few points, especially going into, like I say, 3 very strong fixtures. Jarrow's always... It's a very fast course. I can imagine the competition there is going to be pretty good. Same with Fulham. It's a prime location in London. And Ribble Valley, we already know what that's like, don't we?
Yeah, I know Ribble Valley's the one. That's going to be a big fixture in the Top Flight Series of 2025. Closing off the year with that, and like you mentioned, Fulham. I think Alex, from chatting with her on the podcast, which you guys can check out on our YouTube channel, on the RunThrough YouTube channel, we did an interview with Alex Bell there, and she gave us an insight into what she's got going on in the future. And I think Fulham 10K is on her list of things to do. So watch out for that one as well. So prize money wise, well, what can these athletes be picking up today? We'll flick up our graphic now and you can see what the runners can potentially get their hands on this morning. So £200 for the race winner. Now we've got the course record bonus as well, another £200 there. And then we've got the performances that you need to trigger the time bonuses, which is below 66 minutes for the men and below 71:30 on the ladies' side. And I know we mentioned course records there as well. Mark Scott currently holds the run-through record of 63:40. The course record today round Cheshire is held by Andrew Davies on the men's side in 65:51, and it's Emily Kearney on the ladies' side 76:31 as well. I could see both of them course records potentially going today. I think you've got Poppy Tank in there. I know she's making a half marathon debut, but you know, the 32:30 10k runner at her best, you know, she's going to be a force over the half marathon. We've also got Heather Townsend as well in there. We know her half marathon PB is quicker than that 76:31 course record. And then obviously Omar Ahmed, who we've already mentioned, 62:15 PB or 14 PB, and he's gone sub 63 this year as well. So could maybe see them course records going, Cam.
I think the women's is way more likely to go in than the men's even. I know we're saying that it's Poppy Tank's debut, but she's a class act, and you know, 76 for her, almost, to be honest with you, I feel like she could someday run that. That's what I'm feeling right now. I think as well, Heather Townsend as well is another one that I think could most likely go under the course record today for the ladies. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I think, to be honest, it's going to be an expensive day for the race director, Mr. Parr, isn't it?
I know, he's had some big payouts as well. I know Ben Connor cleaned up at the Quayside 5K. He set course record there as well.
But he's keen for it. He said time and time again, he said, I want to pay out. It's not like he doesn't want to. He's like, come, break the records. That's what I want. I've got the money to give to people. I want to be able to give the money to people. So I think today, hopefully we're going to see that again today. And yeah, I think big tip, hopefully give some big paydays to the guys.
Yeah, no, Cam, you're absolutely right. I mean, Chris has hammered that point home. This is about trying to engage with that elite, and he feels that one way of doing that, because, you know, being probably in that position himself at a time, getting racers to come by and compete in races, it's hard for athletes to find ones that are going to pay you money. And to be doing it as a sort of, you know, that sub-elite level where you're almost there and you need to maybe bridge the gap, where you need to be focusing on your athletics full time, doing that and financing yourself at the same time is really, really tough. So races like this, where there is payouts, I think if I was running and I was in that position, I'd be saying, I'm going to line up a good 7 or 8 of them throughout the year as well. I'll pick them wisely as well. But definitely, you'll know what it's like yourself, Cam.
Oh, 100%, you know. I mean, to be honest with you, I haven't run any yet, but I'd love to run one at least one by the end of the season, I think.
Yeah.
And I think the good thing is, we've definitely mentioned this in the past. I think it depends on what type of runner you are, but I think it's often hard to find races purely because it's trying to find the time of year where there's a race that suits your schedule. But I think the good thing about this is that once a month, you know for a fact there's going to be a top flight series race on, and throughout the year there's going to be times where you may need a road race at some point just to get a race in and tick over, or maybe reintroduce yourself back into the season at early season at this point in the year. You know, you've got Liverpool cross country is only a couple of months away, which is crazy to think, because, you know, summer season's literally, well, it's not even over yet for some of the athletes. They're out in Tokyo at the minute. So I think it serves the athletes well, and more so as well with getting paid, and also that's why I think Chris has mentioned in the past that there's times when he can actually, you know, help some athletes out to even get to the races, so which makes it even better. Yeah,
absolutely. It was something I was thinking about when I was driving in this morning, the travel aspect of things. You know, if there is any elite athletes out there watching this and you're thinking about maybe doing one of the top flight fixes, just drop Chris Parr a message. He'll keep you in the loop with everything that they can offer, from expenses as well to actually get you to the races. So yeah, it's a good deal for the elites at the moment. Yeah, it is, absolutely.
It cost me a lot of money to run in Germany. Like, you know, I was fortunate I had Scottish Athletics help me out a little bit in the end, and I say a little bit, they just definitely contributed a significant amount, but to actually find somebody to fund that yourself generally for races to get around the country it's expensive. So I think it's, you know, it's great to see.
Yeah. So on the note of the elites, obviously we've mentioned Omar Ahmed, 62:14 PB and a 62:43 season's best. Another one I think we should mention, Rich Allen, the Leeds man, 65:15. Typically known for his accolades over 5K, really. He seems to be a bit of a 5K road specialist, does Rich Allen, and he gave Ben Connor a good run at Aintree. He's having a run out today in the half marathon. And as we mentioned, we've got Heather Townsend, the Leeds athlete. She has 73:21 PB over the half marathon. And she'll be joined by Poppy Tank, who doesn't actually have a half marathon PB, but as we mentioned, you know, that 32:30 10K. She's had a road 5K PB of 15:44, I think it is. So again, a quality athlete in Poppy Tank there. Cam, obviously the half marathon distance, a lot can change in a race like that. Have you ever raced a half?
I think we know the answer to that.
No, I was going to try and tease it out here.
Nah, I've never raced a half marathon. Obviously, I think the long I've definitely done one on a Sunday long run. I think we all have. Well, it's not all of us. Most of us have. It's a little bit far for me at the minute. I don't think I've quite trained for that level of distance, but I think definitely with the likes of Poppy Tank, I say, you know, she's strong over the cross as well. I think she's you've got to remember she's, you know, silver runner-up last year at the Liverpool British Championships cross country championships, and you know, she's strong over that distance, and like I said, they're quite undulating courses, which is great for the half marathon. The question is about pacing today. Well, I'm sure she will have talked that through with her coach, and or whoever it is the coach is there now, and I think it'll bode well for her. Yeah,
experienced campaigner as Poppy Tank. But right, you can see, enough of me and Cam in the studio. The race is underway. The Cheshire Half Marathon, it is off. And it just comes at you like that. So, Cheshire Half Marathon, Stage 9, the Top Flight Series for 2025 is underway. And well, who would have guessed it, Cameron? Mr. Omar Ahmed, straight to the front there, no messing about. Looks like he's done a Tracksmith singlet there as well. So, Omar Ahmed, straight onto the front, and as expected, there's no messing about from Mr. Ahmed today. So, like we said, obviously we've got Omar Ahmed in there, and we were touching upon Poppy Tank as well. Heather Townsend as well. I feel like we can't chat about this race without bringing her into the mix, because Heather Townsend, the Leeds athlete there, she's got that 73:21 PB. And she's been on some real form over the road races, I would say. At 10Ks, there's been, I think I had a look at her profile. Over the past 5 races, she's had about a 40-second difference over 10Ks. So she's consistently performing on the roads, which I think is a key thing as a runner, Cam. You'll know yourself, when you're performing consistently, week in, week out, and the races are coming consistently, it gets to the point where you catch that one race and it just clicks, and then you drop that time that everyone looks at and goes, where did that come from? And I think, you know, she's shown that kind of form on the roads, and we may be getting to the point where we see something like that. Would you agree?
Oh, 100%. I was having this conversation actually when I was in Germany with, actually it wasn't Germany, it was Portland with Henry McCluskey. We were laughing about it actually in the airport the other day on the way back, and I seen him in Portland, and he didn't have the best of races for his standards, and probably what he was hoping for. It was great. It was a good run, but you know, he's a class act, and I think he wanted a little bit more. And I was saying to him, we were pretty much having a heart-to-heart about the fact that, you know, one good race can completely change the trajectory of your season. And so when I seen him in Germany, you know, he'd been consistently hitting 3:34s, and I said to him, you know, before the race and after, I was like, if you're consistently hitting those times and you're consistently running well, I feel like you're always one race away from a big jump. And it's just about everything coming together on the night. And I talked about this after I raced in Manchester, and you know, it's like conditions are good. You feel good, which is the main thing. The main factor is that you feel good. Sometimes you toe the line, you don't feel great, but if you're fit, you can grind it out. So maybe she's, you know, when all the stars align on the night or on the day, should I say today, maybe she could drop a big PB, especially if she's being pushed by her compatriot today.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a big turnout from the from the Leeds club today. There's a few in there. We've got Rich Allen in there. We've also got Jason Hall. He's a 66:15 half marathoner. And we've got quite a lot of the half marathoners in this race with PBs ranging, you know, taking Omar out of the equation. We've got a lot of them in there from 65 minutes up to that 68-minute mark there. So there's a lot of depth in the sport now, Cam, and I don't know whether you'll have noticed this as well, and I've listened on certain podcasts and read up on certain things as well. And it was chatting about why there's so much depth in the sport now. At the front end, you've still got that elite band of athletes, but then you've just got this big depth of runners now. And a lot of it was geared towards the idea that, you know, the tech that was available, say, 5-10 years ago, the nutrition that was available 5-10 years ago, all of that is now available to everyone. Everyone's just got so much access to that. And obviously, from your side of things, you'll know because you've been in the sport that long. Do you think that that is the case now?
Yeah, I think my opinion is that you know, the guys at the very top, you know, your top 6 to 8 guys in the world. I think the actual standard isn't much different to what it was 10 years ago. If you look at the finals in 2015 at Beijing, for instance, in the 1500, like you know, your top 6 guys would all be running, you know, 326, 328, 29. But the difference is now is that with the access we've got to knowledge and information and online, with social media in particular being a huge contributing factor, I think more and more people are sort of realizing how the elites have always trained. It was always quite, you know, quite guarded, quite like closed off. People, you know, would kind of gatekeep how they trained, whereas now people are a lot more like open, a bit like Ingebrigtsen. So I think people are training a lot better and a lot smarter. They're eating better, they're sleeping more. So the overall depth is so much better, like so much better now. I mean, if you look at the personal best, I think I messaged you last night, didn't I, for the men's 1500 heats, which we still haven't watched yet, actually. We're going to watch in a bit, but if you look at the overall depth, you know, I think it was like top 6 in every heat. It ran like 330 or quicker. Yeah. Of every heat. And it's like, it's just crazy. And I understand, obviously, the technology does help. There's no doubt about it. But the difference is that the people, I would say people are, the standard is better. You know, I think, yes, the shoes help. And I think the bicarb definitely helps. And there's also that people are starting to take things like broccoli sprouts. And I think you'll see other things come up in the near future, which will be maximising performance. It's almost mimicking cycling now, you know, the professionalism of that. Without the pay. But so yeah, I think that's helped. But yeah, I think definitely athletes are just training harder and I think smarter and a lot more aerobic than they used to. So.
Yeah, I think I've noticed that as well. Just like you mentioned, that sort of the openness that athletes have now. We spoke about this on one of our podcasts, me and Kristen, the other week. And again, like I mentioned before, you can check out these podcasts on the RunThrough YouTube channel. And we discussed about the openness of training now. And it's something that when I was competing in the sport and, you know, probably an attitude adopted by many, you know, maybe 5-10 years ago, there was that sort of closed, guarded approach to it. Like, this is what I'm doing. We're going to keep this a secret. Whereas now, like you say, you've got, you know, the likes of Ingebrigtsen out there sharing their data. You've got other elite athletes out there sharing their work on Strava. That then just folds down, and everyone else in the tiers below, they just think, oh, well, I'm going to share my session on Strava. And now that's all you seem to see on Instagram is everyone posting their run on Strava. Yeah. Even an easy 10 miler gets a post on.
It's the same with training camps, right? Like, I think, you know, you go back even 5-6 years ago, I think there was a select few people who, you know, would have the money to go away on training camps to set aside, and they'd be able to go away and they'd be able to train harder than everybody else. They get more benefits because they're away in altitude for 3-4 months of a 10-month cycle. And, you know, I think if you're training that much harder and you're getting that much more out of yourself than in training than everybody else, I think you're probably going to dominate slightly more. Whereas now you have a look, like people, like there's that whole idea of, oh, you have to be elite to be able to go to training camp. It's just went out the window now. And, you know, you're seeing more people say go to altitude, especially who maybe wouldn't have even qualified for a British Championships, never mind the final. So, and I think that's great. So I think that's also contributing to it as well. So, yeah.
So, I mean, it's obvious for those that are watching. We've had a few little technical issues there, so that's why you've had to listen to me and Cam drone on. But we seem to be back with the race now. And as we mentioned before, it is Omar Ahmed, straight to the front. Now, this is the way that Omar has attacked many races throughout 2025, 2024. He's a natural front runner, isn't he, Cam? He just gets out there from the gun, hits it hard, and he's away. Now, it's a hard thing to do, I think, when you're not a natural front runner. I always used to find it hard getting on the front and churning out a race from the off. Now, Omar's a natural front runner, so it's quite hard to get your head around that. But he just likes to get out, get into a rhythm, and just hit it from the front, doesn't he? And I mean, what if you were tackling a road race, Cam? Like, what's your natural running style? Because obviously on the track, it is slightly different, I think. It's easier to just sit on the shoulder, get in tight, conserve as much energy as possible. Now on the road, things might be slightly different. What are you more geared towards? Do you think you would be, if you were running a 10K, would you think, I'm just going to sit in here and go for the win? or would you like to just get out and get in your own rhythm, run your own race, and whether you're on the front or tucked in a pack, it doesn't really matter?
Well, I think personally, I think an athlete first of all decides on their tactics based on their fitness. I think that's the first and foremost thing you look at. I think we've seen Omar in the past, for instance. If you look at the way he runs his races, we always see him at the front, and whenever he's at the front, that's when he tends to win. We seen him last year, which was a little bit different to what we normally see. He was a little bit hesitant, wasn't he? He was kind of almost holding back, surging, coming back. For me, that was just showing a lack of confidence. Whereas when we see him as fit and healthy, I think we always see him hit the front. I mean, he just runs his own race. He runs at his own pace. He runs as even as possible. And I think he gets the most out of himself. I guess it's almost a bit like the way you want to run the race to the way that your training suits you. So that if you've been training, you haven't been surging much in training, and then if you do it in racing, your body's not going to be used to those surges and lactate. So he probably is best off running it as even as possible. Trying to keep the lactate as low as possible, and almost you want the lactate to be at its highest point right before you hit the line. It's a bit like an Ingebrigtsen method when you see him kind of crawl off the line. It looks like he's crawling off the line, but he's not. It's just that everybody else has bolted off the line and are probably in the 15 running like 12, 13 seconds for the first 100, whereas he's probably running, 13, 14.
Yeah.
But for me personally, I think, the way I train, I think very similar to Omar. I wouldn't be too keen to hit the front, but I think the way I am aerobically now, I think if you'd asked me this five years ago, it would have just been a straight up try and go to the front, depending on who's in the race, maybe just try and sit on the back of somebody and hold on as long as possible. Whereas now, possibly I'd be hit the front maybe. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I've never run a 10K. I would like to do one at some point.
You've never raced a 10K?
Never raced a 10K, yeah. I've had disclaimer.
For a fact, never ran a 10K race. I can't believe that.
Everyone said the thing is, disclaimer is that the coaches have tried to get me to do it in the past, right? But I've always managed to get out of it, not even purposely, just through injury or illness. The inconsistencies. But I think that'll change at some point. But yeah, I think there's just I'm not sure. I always feel like the 10K and the 5K, they're just two different events. Like well, they are objectively, but I mean, it's just like night and day almost. I mean, you've run one, so what's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, they were always hard work, put it that way. I preferred racing a 10K than a 5K. Like 5K was one of them. You'd get away with the first K feeling pretty steady, and then for me, it would just be on you. And that K between 3 and 4K, like one, psychologically, it really digs you because, you've got to really bite down on the gum shield there almost, because that last K, it will take care of itself no matter what's happening in the race. Yeah, exactly. But it's that, that 3 to 4K mark that really hurts. But I always found 5K a really hard and awkward distance to run as well. I found 3K even worse. I couldn't stomach a 3K race. Again, it just felt on you from so early on. It really, really hurt. Yeah. But you've still got quite a long way to go in the same breath. So yeah, I never really enjoyed that. I would rather have run a 10K or a 10 miler over them too.
Really? Interesting. Interesting.
Definitely.
No, I think, interesting. I've not run a 3K in a while on the track, but I've run one 5K on the track, but it was at a box and I wasn't fit, and everyone kind of literally jogged round it. I think it was like almost 80 seconds for some laps. But I've heard that 5K and 3K on the track, particularly 5K, is just it almost feels like a sprint. And I remember speaking to Rob Denmark, and I think anyone who knows anything about 5K running in recent years, I'll give him that. Will know who he is and how good he was. And I remember him telling me at some point there wasn't one 5K that he did where he thought he was going to finish it, where he was running at PB pace. Yeah. But he would get to 3K and get a second wind and be like, okay, I can hang on here. So I can imagine that's the difference. But anyway.
So, stream, back up and running. Again, Omar on the front. And we've got athlete just tucked in second place there, just sitting right on the back of Omar Ahmed there. So Omar doing a lot of the early leading as we anticipated as they're going through about a 4.5K mark there. So Omar looking relaxed there on the front. Now this half marathon course, it isn't a lapped course or anything like that. It is one big long loop and it is around the country road. So it's fairly undulating. There's a few little turns there, but there's no real major climbs. And if you watched our preview podcast, you'll have seen we did have a race graphic on there as well that you accounted for the course profile. the climbs, the drops in it, the changes in gradient there. And so we've seen on there that it isn't a very, very hilly course, but there certainly is some little climbs in there. And I think for an athlete like Omar, he doesn't mind getting stuck into the climbs and the tougher courses from hearing his past comments in some of our run-through races. So yeah, Omar Ahmed on the front there, and he's looking nice and relaxed there. And it looks to be Joseph Carnelley in second place. Now, Joseph, he did compete in one of our top flight fixtures last year as well. He hasn't done huge amounts of racing in 2025 as Joseph. He last raced in March 2025, which was a half marathon. So it's hard to really say how he's going, and it's really hard to say how he's going to perform today. He does have a PB of 66.54, and that was set this year. But like I said, that lack of racing, it's hard to know what kind of form he's going to be in. However, what I will say, Cam, is he's stuck to Omar like glue. And now he's actually taken on the lead himself here. So Joseph will be aware of who Omar is. He'll be aware of how quick Omar can run. But he's obviously not afraid to get on the front here and stretch Omar a little bit. So, like I said, it's hard to say without seeing too much data on him from what he's been running, Cam. But he seems to be full of confidence at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just, I mean, we did look him up a little bit. And like I said, there was a lack of results. I'm only assuming that maybe, because he did have a very good start to the year. I'm assuming maybe he's had some injuries or something, but, you know, Jethro McGraw is his coach, and the athletes that Jethro have coached this year have been in phenomenal form. So if that's anything to go by, I can imagine he's probably toed the line in pretty decent form. If you look at his results, one thing I'm really impressed by, and I think clearly he's very strong when he is fit. He's 15th at the Bucks Cross Country Championships. And I mean, you've raced Bucks before. That's a pretty big result, because I think to get in the top 20 at Bucks, I mean, there's some pretty strong runners in that field. Especially, it's always peak time of year when they hold Bucks cross country as well. It's not like the track where they hold it early season. They hold it in peak season, and usually in around about February. So if he's finishing that high up in Bucks, I think, you know, he's clearly, and I think this course may suit him as well. It's not by any means, it's not a hilly course, but it can be ever so slightly undulating, a little bit twisty, kind of mimicking some cross-country courses. And he looks very fluid when he runs as well, doesn't he? If you just look at the way he's sort of tiptoeing along the course, he's looking at his watch, he doesn't seem to be swaying too much from side to side. He looks very relaxed. And I think to be able to actually get the confidence when you're racing against Omar Ahmed to hit the front, when you know how aggressive Omar can be, I think for me that says that he's pretty fit. I don't think you're doing that unless you've got some kind of decent fitness in the bank.
Yeah, I'd agree there, Cam. He looks great on the front there. Like you mentioned there, he just, you know, skipping along almost. His style is so fluid. Nice little 4-foot strike as well. And Omar just sitting on his shoulder there. So Omar relinquishing the lead. And that isn't typical of Omar. And we've seen when he's been in these races before, especially, I think it was in Battersea Park over a 10K. Him and Cam Allen. It was him and Cam Allen. They had a real ding-dong over 10K, and they toed and froed throughout the race. It was back and forth. Omar on the front, Cam Allen on the front, Omar back on the front, Cam Allen on the front. And they were really trading blows throughout that 10K race there. And Cam Allen actually broke Omar down there. And I've said this before, and I've wondered this before. Does it get to a point for Omar where, if he hasn't broke someone, because he's so used to having it his own way, because he's so used to winning or even finishing within the top three, and I've seen this on his profile, I think in the full season, he's only finished outside the top three once, and that was at the Intercounties cross country, which, you know, cross country, it's a different kettle of fish. Does it get to a point where, and you can maybe comment on this from the position that you're in now, in the stage that you're in your career. I wonder if it gets to a point where if Omar's that used to winning and that used to breaking people down, that when he doesn't almost get his own way and break someone down at a certain point in the race, does it then psychologically, is it a bit more detrimental because you're so used to winning, and then when it doesn't start going your way, like, does the deck chair fold a bit quicker than like you would expect it to? I don't know.
I don't think that's necessarily the case unless you've got to a point where he has, and if you just look at the screen now, he's already went back to the front, and it's like he's doing this thing again. What we've seen him in the past, and every time he's kind of done this, he's been beaten where he surges, and I think he's testing Joseph Carnelley here. I think he's holding back, and then because he's thought, well, I'm not breaking him, so I'll let Joseph Carnelley take the place. I'll take another breather, and then I'll go again. and I'll go a little bit harder. And if he can hold on again, I think what will happen is you'll see that Joseph Carnelley may look like Joseph Carnelley's hitting the front, but it's actually Omar Ahmed slowing down. And I think it's a bit of cat and mouse at the minute. But I think for Omar, I think he's been beaten doing this before, so I'm quite surprised he's quite happy to sit in and out unless his fitness isn't quite where it's been in the past. Because every time we've seen him absolutely dominate, look, we're talking 28.5 minutes on a fairly undulating course, a 10K course, and he's hitting the front from the gun. He doesn't even look back. Never mind, he doesn't care who's around because he knows he's so fit that he's just going to go from the gun. He's very unlikely anyone's going to be able to hang on. But you can just see what we've just said there, what was going to happen. Joseph Carnelley's already looking like he's starting to make his way to the front. But again, look, that was another quick surge there from Omar. It's very interesting tactics. And for me, it says there's maybe a lack of confidence. I don't know whether that's the case or whether he's, he could be in a training block. It's hard to tell. But I don't think that Joseph Carnelley is necessarily surging. It may look like that right now. I think Joseph's trying to run as even as possible. I can imagine Jethro's probably pretty against him, going back and forth. I think he's probably told him to run as economical as possible, which would be the smartest move. And I think he's doing the right thing here by just kind of ignoring what Omar's doing, sticking to his pace. He keeps looking at his watch, so he's making sure he's hitting the paces and ticking off the boxes he needs to tick off each mile. But like I say, if you've been beaten doing this before, and people, when you've tried to run away from them, they haven't run away in the past and you've been beaten, maybe there is a lack of confidence there. Maybe he's thinking, someone sat on me in the past. That happened with earlier in the year, didn't it, with Sam Gabriel-Selassie? I think he tried to run away from Sam Gabriel-Selassie. Sam just sat on him, and unfortunately, for Omar's case, he managed to go past him, had too much left in the end. So, yeah, I think it depends on what works for you personally, Matt. My tactics would have been slightly different if I was him. And, I think sometimes, particularly in distance running, you have to accept that if you do that, there may be times where you do get beaten, but you have to come to terms with that before the race. And I was the same at Manchester. I think before I ran at Manchester, I remember having a conversation right before I went on the line with the coach, and I said, I'm going to the front no matter what. If the pace slows down, I'm going to the front. If I get beaten off the back of that, so be it. But I need to test myself in a different way. Yeah. And luckily it paid off, but quite easily there could have been someone in that race who was also just as fit as me, who was able to track me and be able to take, and be able to sort of jump in my slipstream and be able to go past me in the final stages. But I think, sometimes that's the best thing is to just come to terms with that. Yeah.
It's really draining on the tank, I think, that method of surging throughout the race. Unless you train like that and your body's so used to it. And I don't know whether Omar does train like that. It's an unconventional way of training, but it's, and it's a hard way of training. But unless you're so used to that, I do find it's just really draining on your energy systems. And yes, it has its benefits when, you've got someone clinging onto you and they're working hard and you surge away from them and you break them down. You systematically break them down throughout the race. You not only break them physically, but also psychologically as well. It really puts a dampener down when you just see someone surge away from you. So I think that, yes, it is a good tactic to employ if you're strong enough to do that. And yes, Omar has been in the past. But so far today, I mean, we're not even 5 miles into this race yet. There's a lot of running left to do in this half marathon. But, so far, Joseph Carnelley, he's just sticking to his game plan. Like you mentioned, his pace probably hasn't changed throughout it. All he's done is went to the front when Omar's slowed down. And then when Omar's picked back up, right, well, I'll tuck in and I'll follow him for a bit. So for Carnelley, the positives that he's got is he can just be almost running his own race while keeping an eye on Omar and thinking, just switching off almost and thinking, you do what you want to do. If you want to surge, I'll follow you. If you want to drop back, I'll go at the front. I'm comfortable doing that. So there's an air of confidence about Carnelley here this morning. And anyway, looking at their 4 mile split, I think predicted time-wise, they're running around about the 4:50 mile split. So that should bring them home anywhere between 63 and 63.5 minutes for the half marathon if they maintain this pace. Now, our run-through record is 63:40, which is held by Mark Scott. So there's potential of that one to go there. I mean, that'd be a huge scalp for Carnelley if he's running, if he finishes this race in the 63 minutes. But also then to take the run-through record, you just look at that name that you've got down there, Mark Scott. I mean, a phenomenal athlete on the track and the road as well. So if those two were able to take that run through record today, that would be phenomenal. And like we mentioned before, the course record 65.51 held by Andrew Davies. That looks as though it's probably going to go, Cam.
Yeah, unless something goes dramatically wrong, I can't see that not being beaten tonight. That's the course record. The Mark Scott record, I mean, that's going to be a tough one to beat today. I think they're obviously on pace for that at the minute after 4 miles. We're not quite at the halfway mark yet, are we? So we'll see how that one plays out. And it all depends on as well who's, I think, to be honest, the main reason why the pace is maintained is what it has right now is because Joseph Carnelley's decided to, he's going to run his own race. I can just, like I said, we keep seeing him every time the screen's on. He does keep checking his watch to make sure he's hitting the paces he needs to hit, which says to me he's got that race plan of what he wants. He knows where he is in training. His coach just sat him down. Jasper Rusborough, like I said, was likely said to him, don't go any quicker than this. Just run your own race and run as even as possible. I think that's very mature running. I also think as well, it's, we didn't see him run in the summer, there was a few DNFs in there. For me, there's been an illness or an injury likely has happened to him because he did come off a pretty good, solid winter actually. But what we've just talked about is it's September and we're 2 months away from Liverpool. After his, fantastic run in Bucks last year, the strength there, I think it's very likely he'll be looking to target Liverpool. So I think this is a good introductory to him for sort of winter racing. And I think that's probably the reason why he's here today. So he's probably got his goal. And I can imagine if he is sticking to his guns, running at certain paces with his watch, looking at it all the time, I think he's probably targeting that record, the course record. So I think, there's a good chance it could happen. I think they've got to pick it up a little bit at some point, but yeah.
And hopefully we'll be able to bring you some information on the ladies' race as that unfolds, because we had a brief chat about some of the athletes we've got running there. We've got Heather Townsend in there, the Leeds Harrier. So, Heather's got a 33.24 10K PB, 16.07 5K road PB, and a 2:37 marathon PB. So I think what Heather's got in her back pocket is that, say, over Poppy Tank, is that she's done the distances and done the races from, obviously done track work in the past, but on the road, 5K, 10K, half marathon, marathon. She's boxed those races off, Cam, in the past. And I think that is going to, there's experience that you get from running a marathon. There's experiences that you get from running a half marathon. You know how your body's going to feel at certain points. You know how you should feel at certain points. And I think that is probably the edge that Townsend has got over Tank in this race, because she's so accustomed to running these distances and the trainer will be geared towards it. If you've ran that many half marathons in the past, and I think she's ran maybe 2 or 3 this year anyway, if you ran that many, obviously your training's geared towards that, so you're consistently building towards that. Whereas Poppy's training might be slightly different. She might be targeting the cross. Obviously, we mentioned Poppy's accolades on the cross in the past, went the Euro Cross last year, top 30 there. So, yeah, I would say, and I don't know whether you'll agree with me, Cam, but I think from an experience point of view, what Heather's bringing to the table has got quite a lot of value today.
I agree. I think, you can't beat experience. There's no doubt about it. Well, you can't to a degree. Fitness will always trump that in the end. But I think that, but I also think that, Poppy is an experienced runner. She's not she's not a rookie, let's be honest. And I think, experience will come into a play here, because we're in the longer distances. I mean, how many times have you seen half marathons and marathons, runners, they blow up sometimes because they go off too quickly. But like I say, I can't imagine in a race like this that we would see Poppy Town going off way too quickly, in all honesty. But I think Heather Townsend, like I say, your body, how fast, if you know that red line almost. Like if you're running a half marathon and you've run there and been there before, same in a 10K from what I've been told, if you feel as if you're hitting that red line, then you're more likely to back off, and it plays dividends in the end. So I think that will come into it. I think that it's going to be a cracking race for both of them, and hopefully we can get some footage of that at some point soon, because there has been some technical difficulties clearly with the signal, with it being around some back roads. So do bear with us. If it will come up at some point, we hope, and we'll be able to get back to you on the women's race, because I think that's going to develop into a pretty exciting race indeed. But we're just coming up to actually just to 10K, close to 10K at some point soon. We're around about now, coming up to 9.5K. So we'll be able to get that 10K split pretty soon. But not much has changed at the front, really. Joseph Carnelley's still at the front. Omar Ahmed's on his shoulder. I mean, to be honest with you, we've not seen much surging from Omar at the minute. Maybe this is a completely new tactic, I'll be honest with you, because normally, like I say, when he drops back, he surges and he drops back, but it is a longer distance. So I'll be interested to see if he gets to a point in the race where he gets halfway through, because we have seen him, bar this, we've seen more surges, but we have seen him in the past where he's hit the front and he's just took off. I think was it the Glasgow race?
The Shettleston 10K.
Yeah, Shettleston race.
He did. You're right, Cam.
I think he sat in for that race. I remember I wasn't here. I remember watching it, and he sat in and just took off. But he did surge a little bit more, but also the distance was smaller. So maybe he's just waiting for a point in the race to just go, right, that's it. I'm not hanging around anymore, and I'm off. But I think the danger here is that Joseph does look. He looks pretty comfortable. Like his arms are just, sort of just ticking along. He's not swaying. His shoulders aren't really moving. He looks like he's just out there for. It almost looks like a bit of a tempo run at the minute for Joseph. But we're only at 10K at the minute, so.
Yeah, that's the thing, and that's the really hard thing to call with a half marathon. I think when we're looking at or like from commentating on mile races on the track, 1500s on the track, road 3Ks, road 5Ks. It's easier to pick out, I think, which athletes are really working, how they're feeling at certain points in the race. With the half marathon, because it's so far, we don't know whether Joseph Carnelley here has just got a little bit overexcited and just gone for it, because he's going to be running within himself. But I mean, getting to the 10K mark there in around 30 minutes, these boys are shifting along there. So. Yeah, it's hard to call, and Carnelley might blow up in the next 3 or 4K. Yeah, at this point now, though, he doesn't look to be showing any signs of that. And I think with Omar, it's not like he's ticking over at like 66-minute pace here that's well within him, so he can really put the hammer down. Like we mentioned, they're running around about that 63-minute tempo, which Omar's PB is 62.14, his season's best is 62.43. So actually, we're not a million miles away from Omar's best tempo here, and Carnelley's sat in. So it's going to be really intriguing to see how this one unfolds out. And hopefully we can see it unfold out, because I'm very aware for you guys that are watching this that our stream keeps cutting in and out. And, we'll do our best to get that up and running. I believe it's probably because where this half marathon course is set, as you can see from the the bits of footage that we have, it's back roads, it's country roads. I'm imagining there's going to be some issues with the signal there. So as soon as we get things up and running, or as soon as we can see bits of the race, we will absolutely bring you that, because we know the last thing you want is to be sat looking at me and Cam in the studio when you've got the half marathon that you tuned in to watch.
Yeah.
So as soon as we get that up and running, we'll bring you coverage as we go. So I do apologise for that. So yeah, Cam, that's my thoughts on them two having that little battle. And then obviously we want to be bringing you a bit more information about Heather Townsend, Poppy Tang. We've also got Emma Navesey in there, the Preston Harrier. So she's got a 68.53 PB. I think, if we were seeing Emma involved in the mix today, it would be a bit of a stretch for her, just, looking at times on papers and things like that. You've got, Heather that's, a good 5 minutes in front of Emma. But, big shout out to Emma Navesey, the Preston Harrier there. So she's competing today. And I think that's her first top flight fixture of 2025. So in terms of top flight, what have we got coming up? Well, our next fixture is in Jarrow. It is October, and we will be cracking on with the Jarrow 10K, 19th of October. Then we'll be going over to Fulham for a 10K on the 16th of November. And then it's the big one, Ribble Valley, the one that everyone seems to target every year. I don't know why it's such a quick course, because the course itself isn't that fast, but in terms of the results that it produces, there's some absolutely rapid times drop there. And I think James West took the win there last year, and that was a ridiculously quick sub-29 10K. So yeah, those are our fixtures coming up for the Top Flight Series in 2025. So Cam, in terms of you and your training, obviously track season now all wrapped up, 334, 353 mile, 354 miles. Sorry,
I'll
I
take
do
it.
apologise.
If you want to call me 353 miles,
Yeah.
that's fine. I mean, we'll take it. I should have just said I agreed with it, really.
Yeah,
shouldn't I?
yeah,
But I think
absolutely.
someone at home would know.
Yeah, someone would have pulled you up in it straight in the
If
comments there.
if we were at the bar and having a few drinks, I think I'd have just let that one slide.
Yeah,
Just let everyone around me think
it's
I was
353, man,
353 miler.
So yeah, 354 mile, and you're telling me that you're off the States tomorrow, Albuquerque.
Oh dear, it's out, yeah. No, yeah, I'm off tomorrow, yeah. So early morning flight, looking forward to that. Kind of thought, why not? Might as well go out and make the most of some fitness while I can.
And that's at altitude.
It is altitude, yes. It's, I think that, you know, if you get altitude right, it can benefit you a lot. This is not about going out there and getting super fit. You know, it's so early in the year. It's literally just came off the back of the track season. I think you don't want to be getting too bogged down with training hard at this time of year. I think if you're aiming for, you know, indoors or outdoors, I mean, you've got a while till then. I think it's just about staying healthy and just taking over and doing a bit of easy running and, you know. So I think that's probably what will happen when I'm out there, and I think you'll probably say that for most athletes, to be honest. I think it's a bit early, if anything, but you know, my girlfriend's out there, so.
Yeah. So what will the emphasis on your training be at that point then? Is it just about building a base, building a big engine while you're out there, getting the aerobic capacity? Because, I mean, I don't know what you've got planned and whether you want to share that, but what would you be looking for after this sort of training period in Albuquerque? Is it just going to be coming back and ticking over, then hitting some races in the build up to Christmas, or hitting the indoors, hitting the roads, dare I say it, the cross?
Possibly. I think I'll possibly do maybe do Cardiff Cross. Yeah, I mean that's the 8th of November, so I think that'll be definitely possibly be a target. But I think at this point in time for me, it's just about hitting consistent training from end of September to December. Nothing special, getting it done, getting it in the bag. Historically, I mean, I've never had much consistency really until this sort of, till since March. I had quite a bit of consistency, but historically, I think one of the most important things is just to try and get September to December of a consistent low level of training. That would be my main target. You know, like I ran it for 8 weeks, I think, of running I had from last July till March this year, which is like 8 months. I've had 8 weeks of running in that 8-month period. So I think the most powerful thing you can do now is not get too carried away and think, right, I'm going to smash training for the next year and I'm going to run stupid time next year. I don't think that always works like that. I think it's just about trying to be more consistent. And I think, you know, if you do the same what you did this year, but then have that a little bit more consistency through the winter, I think, you know, you should hope to improve. And I think the naivety of when you're younger is that, and I'm sure you've had this before, you think, well, I'm going to train so much harder and I'm going to be so much better. It really doesn't work like that. You don't, you know, there's a bit of correlation between training harder and getting better results, but I don't think it fully works like that. And I think that's probably the naivety of what a lot of people think. You know, it's not the same as, for instance, I don't know, working an average job where you work harder, you get better. Like, if you work harder sometimes, you can get worse, but you just have to be smart about the way you train. So yeah, being consistent is the most important thing, I think. And
have you noticed that sort of shift with your training then from, say, when you were younger and you'd have these like peaks and troughs where you would be, you know, flying for a short period, then an injury or an illness would have come, then it'd be the build back up, and then you'd be flying for a short period, then you come back down again. Do you think that was because you were maybe just training too hard, or the training wasn't right? Or was it other things like the lifestyle, things like that? Or what's been the shift? Because I would say I've noticed, you know, in the past year or so, even last year before you got injured, like there was a significant change in performance, I thought, from, you know, even when you weren't at 100% fitness, the times or performances that you were shown, they were really, really good. So I think it's been refreshing to see that actually you've had a bit of a run at a season as well, albeit a late season, because you haven't had a full track season really, have you? And you've came out and ran a 3:34 1500. So I'm sat here thinking, what's been the change, and two, what or where can you go as well? Yeah,
I think the biggest thing has been, do you know what, I ended my season, was it last week? I cancelled my last 2 races through illness, but it was road races anyway, so I think I was okay with that. And I went and had a beer for the first time in a long time. And I was sat down with Rory Lennon, and he asked pretty much the same question. It's like, what's changed? What's helped you get back this year? And I think there's not really any magic answer to it. I think to be honest with you, I just haven't taken any risks this year. In the past, I think there was a lot of, I was doing some guesswork and just sort of getting quite obsessed with things like gym work and other small things that I thought, you know, you look at some of the pros and you think, well, they did drill sessions, you need to do drill sessions. And I remember Lindsay Dunn, back when Lindsay Dunn was coaching me, you know, he was very much an old school simplistic methodology, and I kind of feel like I've stuck to that a little bit this year. Alan Story's coaching me, and I think he's kind of the same mentality as that. And I haven't had a full track season, like you say, and I'd had a couple of illnesses in there as well, particularly right before the British Championships, and I still managed to come back from that okay. And but that also significantly impacted certain sort of periodizations of training that I would have normally done, which would have been a lot of speed work going into the British Champs, which I hadn't done, which definitely showed in the final. But I think it's just about it. For me, it's just been about logging away, like trying not to take any stupid risks. So like the actual goal of the session is having a purpose for every session, I think is the main thing. So I'm not going into a session trying to tank myself in every session.
Yeah.
The goal of the session is to gain a certain fitness and a certain or try and hit a certain physiological adaptation. And I think I've learned a lot about my body more so now in the last sort of 18 months than I have done throughout the whole of my career. And I think once you start to learn about that and realise that you're just trying to stress your body in a certain way to get that fitness adaptation, I think that's when you stop taking stupid risks and thinking, oh, I've finished my session, should I put my spikes on and bang out some 24, 25 second 200s?
Yeah.
You know, that's just like gone out the window now. That's just because I've had a lot of education from Alan where he's been like, you don't need to do it for this reason. And I think that's where athletes often go wrong, is that when they're seeking advice, maybe their coach isn't giving them the actual reasons. If I ask Alan a question, I would say 99% of the time, he's got an answer for it. So I say, why am I doing this session and not this session? Or why am I not banging out some 24 second 200s? And he'll tell me the reason. And I think as an athlete, you look for confidence in your coach in that you want an answer, but he doesn't always have an answer, but if he doesn't have the answer, which was exactly the same as Lindsay, he would go away and find out the answer and he'd come back to me probably the same day because he'd have been sat researching it and looking it up and being like, actually, I've changed my opinion on this or I've changed my opinion on that. So I think, it's learning about your body is probably the most important thing that you need to do. And that for me has changed my concept of what training looks like.
Yeah. And from a racing perspective then, obviously, you're experienced in the sense that you've been around in the sport for a long time, but actually in terms of sort of numbers of races over the past few years, you've been quite race light, haven't you? Because of like the injuries and illnesses and things like that. Like, how do you sort of prepare yourself now for these races? Like in terms of managing your nerves, in terms of managing pressure. Do you feel nervous about things, or do you feel just really comfortable and confident in yourself? How does that, how do you manage that now?
I just think I'm in a different headspace to what I was when I was younger. And I think when you get older, you are very much, from my perspective anyways, I've become much more process driven. And it's a bit like what I was talking about with training, where I'm just trying to hit certain targets in training and to try and get fitter. And not trying to tick every single box in a session it was key. But going into racing, like everybody gets nervous, and you have to get nervous because it means you care. But generally, I think it's about, for me, I have the confidence to know that when I'm going into races now, in particular, Alan will say to me, you're a different animal to what you are 10 years ago. And he's completely right. I'm a different person, like completely different animal to what I was when I was younger and breaking 340 when I was younger. So for me, I get nervous, but I think particularly in the last couple of races I ran in the season, I was there for a purpose, which was I was chasing a time. And I think I remember in the last race I ran in, I wasn't particularly nervous, I'll be totally honest with you. Because I knew the goal was to go there and run fast. And I just remember saying to Alan, I said, I'm going to send it, see what happens. But I'm confident, we were pretty confident because of where I was training, that I could run quicker. I think probably there was a little bit more in the legs there if I had one or two more races. And I said that after the mile race. I was like, if I have one or two more races, I think that would be about right for me. And I proved that obviously straight after that. I jumped on a plane, the next day I raced. You know, I remember I told you I went for a shakeout at 1 a.m. the day before a race because I arrived in at 12:30 after a full day of traveling. And you know, I didn't have that as much nerves because I just knew what I was there for. I knew if certain people beat me, it is what it is, as long as I achieve my personal goal. So I think because of that, I think my nerves aren't as bad as what they used to be. And I think it's the main reason is just having personal goals rather than worrying about what other people think of me. Because I think you put too much pressure on yourself as an athlete, don't you? When you're worrying about what other people think.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, Cam. I think it's like not just something in racing, but in life as well. I think as soon as you can let go of that worry as an athlete of, if I run rubbish here, like these are gonna be the consequences of what these people are going to think of me, of what the other athletes are going to think of me, of how other coaches are going to see me, of how that's going to feel trying to get into different races. I think as soon as you let go of that, and to any athletes that are listening, you know, I would absolutely encourage taking that mindset of, I don't care what you think. I don't care if this performance doesn't tick your boxes because I'm at certain phases in my training, in my career, and where I want to go, this is just a step in getting there as well. And I think, you know, for the younger athletes, that's really, really important to hold on that mindset because it's something that I was probably plagued with throughout running, always trying to not please other people, but that mindset of, if I don't run well here, I need to run well here. I need to show how good I am because I've been doing this in training, that in training. And it only has a detrimental effect on your performance, I think. So I think once you get to that headspace, it's hard to do, but it's only going to be of a benefit to your running career. Yeah,
I think, and in all honesty, we're talking about mindset, you know. For me, my concept of what I find successful now has changed as well. More so that it's because I'm bothered about the only opinions that I'm bothered about realistically of how I'm running to a degree, myself of what I'm not going out there to try and prove to anyone what I can achieve. It's like I'm there because I'm trying to prove to myself. That's it. And I think unless you're fully doing it for yourself, you'll never get the most out of yourself. Being competitive with yourself. And I think that's, like when you're younger, and it's easier said now because I'm, slightly older than what I was when I was 21, but when you're younger, you're thinking, I'd love to one day be a pro athlete. I wonder what they're thinking of me. I wonder what this coach is thinking of me. And particularly when I was in the Performance Institute environment, I hated that really. It just wasn't the right environment for me. It's, you're constantly trying to think, am I running well enough for them to actually pay attention to me? Yeah. It becomes quite toxic. But I think a lot of that, again, it just boils back down to having a coach who's there for you, to help you, and just wants the best out of you. And I think that's just a rarity nowadays to find, where you find, not so much in the club environment. I think you'll always kind of find that in the club coaching environment, because the guys who go down to coach down the local club, usually they're there because they want to be there. They've got a day job, most of them, unless they're retired. Their day job is, then they come straight from the day job and they coach you, and they're down there in the rain, the cold, holding the stopwatch. And I think you become accustomed to that when you're younger. And then when you get in sort of the more slightly elite side of things, you can fall into the hands of someone who's, there because, I don't know, maybe they're paid by an organisation, or they're paid by a brand to hold a stopwatch for you. So if you're not performing, the next one comes along, and you then that's when it becomes a bit of a downward spiral for athletes, I think. Whereas, I've got a coach who I'm very fortunate. I've got a very supportive coach who, if I don't ring him one day, he'll be straight on the blower on the night, texting me saying, is everything okay? Yeah. I speak to Alan some days 2 times a day, 3 times a day. Oh, poor Alan. You better be paying him good for that, mate. It's poor Nikki, his wife, that's who it is, I'll be, every night I'm ringing him when they're in the middle of watching something. Unless it's Man United on the screen, I think he's pretty happy to get away from watching them. Well, that's what he says anyway. I don't know. I think he secretly likes Man United. So, we're back up and running. Yeah, sorry to turn that into my show. No, Cam, I tell you what, it's been great having you actually in the studio, because we get to tap into this kind of stuff as well. And especially with the technical issues we had this morning, I think it's been, for anyone that's listening, I think there's been some really useful sort of takeaway points from that as well, actually, especially the stuff about mindset for younger athletes as well. I think it's something that maybe doesn't always get addressed in sense of a training,
because, you know, you're training your body, but you should also be training your mind as an athlete as well.
One more thing, not comparing your developments with other athletes your same age.
Yeah, I know, and that becomes a massive emphasis
crazy.
for younger athletes, isn't it? I'm under 15, who's ranked, It doesn't matter.
Oh, I'm 19, and I haven't won a European junior medal, and all my compatriots got a sponsorship deal, and I haven't. But then, you know, everyone's careers, you just look at what Georgia Bell's done, you know, and then you look at the opposite end of that, her training partner, Keely Hodgkinson. They're completely two ends of the spectrum. One's like, what, I think 8 years older than the other one or something. And, and you know, and they're both now very, very, like, they're both the best, some of the best athletes in the world, like medalists, Olympic medalists. And I always used to compare myself, and I'm sure you have as well over the years, compared yourself to someone else who's the same age as you. Yeah,
absolutely. So, Cam, our stream seems to be going. We seem to be good here. We can see them through 10 miles there in around about 48, 45. So they're still rattling along. And Carnelley is on the front and Ahmed is in second. We've got about 3 miles left of this race. Carnelley still looks good, Cam. So he's obviously been nestled away, training hard, he's going to be bringing that PB down today. 3 miles to go on the race, Cam. What's the thought process if you're Omar Ahmed now?
If I'm Omar Ahmed, I think I'm going to have to make a bit of a move at some point soon. I think we'll possibly see an attack at some point, unless he's falling off the back. But it's always hard to tell with his running style, isn't it? I think he's, you know, he does sway a little bit, and it almost looks like, if you look at him now, his head's popping from side to side, his arms are kind of swaying all over the place. And almost sometimes it makes you think maybe gives you a false sense of security, maybe as an athlete competing against him, that he's actually hurting, or maybe he's a little bit tired when he's not, just because he's quite slumpish. But Carnelley just looks, you know, I think he looks like he's a little bit more laboursome than he was in the past, earlier on in the race. But his shoulders aren't really rocking too much. He's taking the long way around. I don't really know why they're doing that if these are closed roads. They do seem to be taking the wide bends, unless they've been told to stay on the left-hand side. I don't know. Yeah, I think if I'm Omar Ahmed, you're going to have to hit the front at some point if you make a go of it from a long way out. He's just checked his watch there, so maybe he's looking to see if there's a point where he can hit the front. But I'm not sure if he's got much in the legs left. We usually see him going a little bit quicker, but they're going pretty quick right now, aren't they? So it's hard to say whether or not he's actually tired.
So I'm going to bring you some news because of the sort of stream issues that we've had. Me and Cam must apologise here. It's not Joseph Carnelley on the front. It's Joe Hudson. They are the same club. That's why we've jumped on the Joseph Carnelley train there. It is Joe Hudson that is on the front with Omar Ahmed there. So Joe Hudson, 10,000 metre PB of 28.23 set in Stanford on the 4th of April this year. So that's why Omar Ahmed is in good company, because he's joined by a quality operator there. 28.23 for 10K, Cam, on the track. That's something a little bit special. And on the roads, 29.39 PB set back in 2021. Doesn't actually have a half marathon PB, so I must apologise to Joe Hudson because we've been selling you as Joseph Carnelley for the past 50 minutes there. But obviously the club vests have got us slightly confused there. But yeah, it is Joe Hudson on the front, locked in battle, the Keely and Craven Harrier, same as Joseph Carnelley, that is churning up this race with Omar Ahmed. So it's going to be a tough one for Omar, because Hudson is similar in terms of the 5K, 5,000 metre PB that they have. So they're both going to have similar levels of speed in their legs here. And he's looking comfortable and he's looking relaxed. And I feel like Omar could be coming under a bit of pressure here, Cam. And how he deals with it, I'm not too sure. So we'll see how this one unfolds.
That is very interesting. Thanks for pointing that out. That would have been my mistake. So like I said, I do apologise. He wasn't actually put on my list as an elite entry. I can imagine maybe it's a late entry there. But yeah, I mean, looking at his performances for 10K, all the way down to 3K, to be honest with you, 3,000 metre indoor personal best of 7:56. So he's got some speed at the end of this. I can imagine he's, and I'm just as well. We were just looking at his cross country results as well. You know, he made the NCAAs, which again in itself, if anyone knows anything about the NCAA, that's something that's pretty impressive to be able to even make that. To be able to make the NCAAs is one thing, but I've seen the Mountain West Conference. He managed to finish in the cross country. He managed to finish 6th there. That's altitude, so he's clearly in good shape. Out of Boise State, just came back from the States by the looks of things. So yeah, I think he's clearly looking to make a bit of a statement early season, trying to get some runs in, and I can imagine he'll probably will be aiming for Liverpool cross country this year, given how he goes. But here we look at this. It just looks like Omar Ahmed has hit the front and he's went. It doesn't look. This is clearly his move right now, and I can see it looked like he was starting to go there. Unfortunately, seems like our stream's paused at the minute with the signal. It will come back on. But it looked like he'd made his decisive move to get to the front there, Ed.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I just want to hammer that point home. We do apologise. It is Joe Hudson on the front there. He must have been a late entrant into the race, to be honest. But there we go. We can see Hudson there. He still looks good, still looks relaxed. Even though the pressures came on from Ahmed, he still looks good. I guess what he's got to try and do now, he's maybe got about 2 mile-ish to go. He's got to try and just hold it together and hope that he can rein Omar in here. But that's easier said than done. Omar looks to have put the boot in here and has really taken, in the short space of time, a significant chunk out of Hudson there. And I think the way that Omar runs, that aggressive nature, that aggressive front-running style of his, it's going to be a very, very hard task to rein him in now. And that is no pun intended, as Omar Ahmed has just gone past them horses there. So Omar Ahmed, I can't believe the timing of that. Omar Ahmed has struck for home here. He's got a couple of miles left to go, and he looks to be away with it. And we've seen him do this before. He's probably put about 20 metres on him there in the space of what, half a K, 500, 600 metres. And I tell you what, I've just seen Hudson have a little look over his shoulder there. That to me is a sign that he's done.
I disagree. I don't know if he's quite done yet. I think he's, Rich, I think that the best thing that he could do right now is try and reel him in over this next mile, slowly take him in, because I think Omar's clearly made a decisive move. And I think when you make a move like that and you commit that hard, the gap hasn't got any bigger at the minute. I think, the gap got very big very, very quickly and it's stayed there. It hasn't got any bigger, I'd say, in the last 500 metres. It hasn't really increased too much. I can imagine he's probably put the hammer down, expended quite a lot of energy in that burst. The best thing he could do, Carnelley, I can't even call him Carnelley again because we've been talking about him so much. The best thing we could see happen now from Joe Hudson is to start reeling him back in. Does it look like it's getting bigger? I'm not 100% convinced, and I don't think that there's much difference in pace at the minute. But like I say, Omar keeps checking his watch. I think for me that's a sign that he's tired. So I'd like to see Joe put a little bit more of a pick the tempo up just a little bit now and try and reel him in, because I think this is pretty demoralising if you get to the point of, you've put that burst in, you're pretty tired, you've got that lactate in your system, you're trying to hold someone off, and then suddenly they're back on your shoulder again, and they've done it in a more economical way. It's pretty demoralising. I think then it would probably come down to the wire.
So we've got about 2K to go. 2K to go on a half marathon. He's got 25 metres on him. I couldn't see Hudson coming back from that, to be honest, Cam, and I know you're probably a bit more positive about the comeback than I am. But I just think when Omar's got away at that pace as well, he must have dropped a significant K there, because they're operating, word from the course is that they're operating under course record pace now. So they're under that 63.30 mark. So then you've got to think, well, if they're running 63.30 pace and then he's put the boot in, if Hudson isn't going backwards and just getting tired, what kind of K split has Omar put in there? And I mean, saying that though, Cam, Omar looks like he's working. He does. The shoulders are rocking and rolling a little bit there. The arm cadence, the carry's a little bit high. And I don't know, his foot strike, he doesn't look flat-footed, but he looks as though he's working hard. But then I guess, you've got coming into a mile to go after you've churned out 12 miles in a half marathon, you're going to be feeling a bit tired. You're going to be working hard there, especially at that pace. And like I said, word from the course is that they were on for a course record. So 65.51 is the course record. Andrew Davies, that is going today. I think we're confident in that. The run-through record, 63.40, as I mentioned before. Is that going to go? We knew from their mile splits earlier on in the race, they were around about the 63 minutes to 63.30 predicted finish time. So coming home in anything under that 63.40, they're going to trigger their run-through record bonus as well. So could be an expensive day for a run-through and a good day for Omar Ahmed if he holds on for the win. So as soon as we get that stream back up and running, we'll bring you that information and see what the lads are doing out there. Also, as mentioned before, we've got Heather Townsend, Emma Navesey and Poppy Tank in the ladies' race as well. Again, as soon as we get information on them, how they're progressing around the course, we'll bring that back to you guys that are watching.
I'm interested. I mean, I think a good thing to quickly touch on is, it looks like Joe Hudson, bearing in mind that the USA season is getting underway now, it looks like he's come back from America. I think it'll be interesting to see how he copes with that and how he transitions back into the UK European system. Because, it is a difficult thing to do. I've been out there myself in March all the way through for a few months. And I've seen the setup, for instance, in New Mexico they've got, and it's truly world class. And I think, a lot of athletes, they do struggle with that transition back into Europe. So I think to see him come out here and running good form, I think that's very positive because it can go the other way for some athletes. Some athletes can come back and actually run even better. We've seen that with Rory Leonard. He came back from a very good school out in the US college gate system, and actually his performances just went through the roof. So it looks pretty positive for Joe. It looks like he's in good shape, like I say. Coming in, he's probably putting in an early performance now, ready for a good cross country season. But it would be interesting to see how his transition copes over the next few months coming back from the USA.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And on the note of seasons, Cam, obviously I know you're going out to Albuquerque for that training block. Any target races that you'd like to share? You might not want to.
I haven't really got any target races yet, I think. But I like to think that I'll be doing the short course, maybe cross country, like I say, at Cardiff. I think that's probably something I'll do as long as I'm healthy, as long as I've got a little bit of fitness. Mm-hmm. Like I say, I think most people go there, and I'd be very surprised if someone's, in full flat-out training when they get to that point in the year. It's so early. Some people may do. I think, if you're looking to hit the indoors, you don't want to be in peak form at the beginning of November, do you? So. No. I think the best thing to do is, I was talking to a few guys from Scottish Athletics in recent weeks, and they just said, make sure just getting some general fitness is probably a good thing to do. I'm still yet to sit down with my coach Alan and talk through our season targets, but I definitely think a 5K is potentially on the cards indoors come New Year. I think the Commonwealth Games are next year, and I think it's pretty obvious how strong the Scottish team is for the mile. So you've got to be good at two events. If you look at all of the three top boys who all happen to be at Tokyo this year, Josh, Neil and Jake, those boys could, definitely make the 800 and 1500 team each, and possibly even the 5K as well. I think probably all three of them could make, all three teams. Mm-hmm. And I think if you look at that, you've got to also be willing to put the work in and be good at different events. We've seen what happened last year at the Olympics with Jake Whiteman. But anyway, it looks like we've got the stream pack running now.
Yeah, it does. So Omar Ahmed shouldn't be too far from home now, probably about 500-600 metres to go. Obviously, that clock can be slightly out and the K marks can be slightly out because it's from our lead bike there. So we'll see him coming into the finish area shortly. It doesn't look like Hudson's managed to get on the back of Omar Ahmed. I tell you what, Cam. I tell you what, your optimism is proving a problem to my predictions here.
Well, Joel Hudson's a class act. I think we've just seen that. 28-20 for 10K. That is some going. I think that's a pretty rapid, especially on the track, to be able to run that quickly. I think it shows that you're in good form because it is hard in spikes to run a decent 10K on the track. I see a lot of people running well over 10K on the road and not translating that into the track. So he's clearly tough as well because to be able to grind it out. And it does look like it's closing a little bit.
You know what, Cam? It does look like it's closing. Now, the query is, does Hudson have enough time to rein him back in? You can see the clock around the 62.5-minute mark. So
he's coming in quickly because that bike's not slowing down. That bike's maintaining the pace and he's getting closer. But it's like you said, I think he's going to run out of ground at this point. I think it looks like he's starting to come into the finish. He is slowing down, Omar. You can just tell by his tempo.
Omar's working hard. I think that's what it is. And there's a little look over Omar's shoulder there as well. And I think he knows that he shook Hudson for a bit. But as I say that, it looks like Omar starts to open up. And what a time for us to lose that stream as we're coming into that last 150, 200 metres there. Again, I do apologise for the stream issues we've had today. I really do think it's a case that those country roads, they aren't helping us with the signal. But we can see, here we go, we're back up and running again. Please, just the signal gods, stay with us and let us see this finish. Omar is dramatically looking over that shoulder. Now, Hudson must be finishing like a train, and he is. You can see there's a definite difference in cadence there. I do think Omar's going to hold on. He is going to hold on now. It's been a fantastic race to watch develop there, but Omar Ahmed is going to take the Cheshire Half Marathon, stage 9 of the Top Flight Series, and look at the time, and look at that close from Hudson. Around about the 63:30 to 40 mark there. Omar's very tired there, and you tell you why, because Hudson ran him very close to the line. What a run. That could potentially have been a run-through record there. Like I mentioned, 63:40 is the official run-through record. It's definitely a course record by Andrew Davies. That was 65:51 before that. So that's gone. Omar Ahmed takes the win. Omar Ahmed takes the course record. Does Omar Ahmed take the run-through record that was 63:40 held by Mark Scott? As soon as we can get them results up, as soon as we get official word from that, we'll get somebody from the course to drop us a message in the studio and let us know whether he got that time. But I know we only seen sections of the race, Cam, and it's a shame, actually, because that would have been a real class race to watch unfold there. But at least we did get the finish as well. Hudson closed like a train.
Oh, I did feel as if he would. I think, to be honest with you, I think what's happened is that he's just went too late. I think if he'd went earlier and really in that mile that, giving himself a mile to get sort of gain that traction back and close him in, pick the tempo up just a little bit, I think we probably would have seen, just seen a little bit more of a even closer race. I think they would have been battling it all the way to the line. Unfortunately, he left it just that little bit too late. I think you get that bit of a momentum pickup though. When you get to the sort of the end of a race and all you can see is the crowds cheering you on. You're getting closer to the finish when you see those crowds coming in, especially on a half marathon in a race like this. And I think he's, the adrenaline's kicked and he's really went for it, but it's just been a little bit too late because Omar was slowing down as well. But I think it's lessons to learn from that, and I think he'll come away from the race and he'll realise, and he'll probably kick himself a little bit from not going too soon, a little bit sooner, or maybe even allowing Omar to put that surge in, because could he have held on to Omar for a little bit longer? I don't know. But I think it was textbook running. I think Omar did what he needed to do to win. And we were saying just before that, weren't we? He's going to have to make a move at some point, and it has to be decisive, and he did exactly that. And it's not a surprise that he was able to come away from the win if he's kicking away like that, and he had no response from Joe Hudson.
Yeah, and talking of times there, so I've had a word through from the course, 63:39 for Omar Ahmed. So it sounds, obviously we'll have to get that fully ratified, but it does sound like Omar Ahmed's broke the run-through record there, previously held by Mark Scott at 63:40. So we'll wait for official confirmation of that.
I mean, you've said it now, so if it doesn't come through, it's going to look fixed.
I'm just going off what we're fed from the course. 63:39.
It's not going to bode too well for Chris Parr now if he comes back and says, it's 63:40 instead. He doesn't get that big payout, because if he's broken that record, that's going to be that must be a big payout then. That must be another, over £1,000.
Yeah,
payout.
It will be. Yeah, definitely.
In one race, it's pretty good.
It'll be similar to Ben Connor's sweep at the Quayside 5K. So I do apologise again for the stream issues that we've had today. It has, put a bit of a dampener on our coverage at times there. So I think we'll bring up some of our graphics just to sort of recap our next fixtures, what we've got coming up from the Top Flight Series in 2025. As previously mentioned, we've got the Jarrow 10K, the 19th of October. Now, that is a very, very flat and fast course. Now, anyone who's going to be targeting a 10K, I would urge you to have a look at Jarrow, because I've seen the course firsthand and it is rapid. So if the field is there, there will be a very, very good chance of a quick time in that race. Then we're going to be heading over to Fulham on the 16th of November for the Fulham 10K. And then we'll be closing the Top Flight Series of 2025 out with the Ribble Valley fixture on the 28th of December. So as soon as we get some official results from the course, we will bring you that information of the men's and women's top three. We can see the finish line there. So we'll, as these athletes filter through, me and Cam will go a little bit quiet now and let you guys take in these athletes coming across the line. We'll see if we can get hold of some results shortly.
And he goes up next athlete running out of St Helens. Huge congratulations to Frankie Conway. Here goes our next athlete over the line. Q2 12 Cameron Cannon. Congratulations, Cameron. Let's go, mate. Great running out there today. That is Robert in and over the line. Here's our next athlete over the line. Here's Ryan. Congratulations, buddy. Congratulations to Ryan Moore. Goes up, next athlete over the line. Nathan, congratulations to you, Nathan. Going to Sammy and Mohammed as well. Congratulations to you, David. Also finishing here today. Congratulations as well to our next two athletes coming in and over the line. There's Jack Davis and Nathan John Hart as well. That's our next athlete in and over the line. And to Alex and David, congratulations to you. So we're predicting a couple of minutes until our first female athletes come in. It's going to be Popping Tank at the moment. 14. So around 2 minutes time. Our next athlete over the line there is Clark, Harry and Alex. We have David there as well.
Rob! Yeah. He's coming over the bridge now.
What athletes coming up to the line? Let's go, guys, you've got this. Give them a cheer as they come down to the line. Here at the Cheshire Half Marathon. Huge congratulations. There's our next athlete over the line. One of the Ross. And our first lady is incoming very shortly. Huge congratulations to our next long Eastern runner there over the line. We've got Nathan, and Ross too.
Ross is coming quick. One for the back.
Huge congratulations to our next few athletes. Our first female athlete is coming up to the line very shortly. So make sure we get plenty of love as Poppy comes in. I believe this is Poppy. Four athletes coming into the line now. That is James and Jonathan and Matthew. And let's make some noise for our first place.
Come on, Tommy!
Coming out to the line. Here goes Poppy back. And some noise for Poppy. Going to win here today at the Cheshire Half Marathon. Huge congratulations to Poppy Tank. 1:13:29 Poppy runs at Cheshire. Brilliant run by you all there today. Fantastic work by Poppy Tank. And confirming as well, Poppy breaks the female course record here today. Went 13:39 previously, over went 15. So huge congratulations, Poppy Tank, breaking the female course record here today. Congratulations there, Poppy. Our next athlete coming up to the line. Stefano. Jason recently over the line as well. Congratulations, Jason. Well, it's Ryan over the line here too. Congratulations, Ryan. And it comes up next year athletes coming up to the line as well. Really well done. We've got Paul Bradshaw here. And Adrian up over the line as well. Congratulations, Adrian. Here comes our next athlete coming up to and over the line. Huge congratulations. Of course, it's the finishing race here today. There is Neil Taylor. One of Neil. Here comes our next finisher too. Congratulations, Stephen Thompson. And as he watches crosses the line. James Lewis, one of James. A world-class athlete coming up to and over the line here now. Really well done, Stephen Salad, on it, Stephen. What is a Phil, Stephen and Matthew. Congratulations, Matthew. And it was our second place female athlete. Over the line, huge congratulations to Anna Roy.
I'm so good.
And then our third place female athlete looks like she is around a minute away. Well, it's a David Parkin, congratulations to you. Massive well done. Congratulations to each and every athlete who went off third place female finisher, who is going to come in very soon back into the shadow of Capesthorne Hall. And this is David and Matthew recently finishing, and our next two athletes coming over the line here too. Well, it's a Philip. Congratulations, Philip. Congratulations to Tom as well. Really well done, Tom. We'll take your next few athletes over the line. Go on, Ads! Here comes Ads up and over the line. Well done, Adam. Great running out there today, mate. Fantastic work. And our third place female athlete crosses the line there. Well done to Emma Navesey. Well done, Emma. 1:19.04 from the Preston Harriers. Well done, Emma. And that is our three podium athletes in the male and the female race. In both course records have gone here today, which is fantastic. We thought it was going to be quick because of the conditions, and it has been very quick. And we think, we're just confirming 100%, but we think that is the fastest half marathon ever run at a run-through race by a second. So it does involve quite a good campaign, so we do need to confirm. But yeah, we think it's the fastest ever, which is very cool. There's our next few athletes coming over the line: Gary, Alex, Nicholas, and Alan. Really well done to you. Well done to Justin and Josh as well. We've got Gary. Well, it's a Justin Johnson, Josh, and Gary. We are going to James, Philip, Daniel. Well, it's a Lewis and James, congratulations. Well, it's a Jonathan and Ted as well. Congratulations, Paul and Lewis. Luke as well, well done to you, Luke. Congratulations to Jordan. There's Shane and Luke. Well, it's a shame over the line there. Chris and Pat too. Congratulations to you, Pat. Well, it's a Rory. Adam and Andy over the line. There's Sarah. Come on, Sarah. 1:22.12. Unbelievable run for Sarah right there today. Absolutely brilliant, Sarah. Jordan, Nathan, Andy, and Phil. Well, it's a Nathan as well over the line. Congratulations to you. As you welcome more and more athletes completing their races here today. Kieran Smith, got it, Kizzy. Good boy. Getting ready for a marathon. 122.32 for this. One over Tim, Ali, Brandon Wilkinson as well. Congratulations to you, Brandon. We are going to be doing the presentation on the stage in the not too distant future.
Are you filming the prize presentation?
As you welcome back in Sam and Tim and Ali. Congratulations to Ali. Well done to Harry and Simon as well. There is Tim, Nathan, Josh and Wayne all over the line. Fantastic running by all of our athletes. As we welcome more and more athletes in and over the line. There is Steve and Mark, Wayne.
So back in the studio with me and Cam, we'll just quickly round off the results, the official results that we've got through now. So on the ladies' side of things, Poppy Tank took the win, 73.29, and that was a course record. So good solid debut in the half from Poppy Tank there, Cam. Anna Lawson in second place, 77.24, and it was Emma Navesey, the Preston Harrier that we mentioned, in third place in 79.04. On the men's side of things, Omar Ahmed, 63.39, so he did get that course record, and we'll wait for confirmation, but it looks like he's also got that run-through record as well. He was closely followed home by Joe Hudson. Yes, Joe Hudson. Again, do apologise to Joe for calling him Joseph Carnelley for the early part of that race. But yes, Joe Hudson, a fantastic run from him, 63.43 across the line in second place. Really came back at Omar that last 200-300 metres there. And in third place was Connor Sarsfield, 66.01, so a good solid run from Connor there. Now, as I've mentioned before, we are going to show you our top flight fixtures, what we've got coming up. Our next fixture is the Jarrow 10K, 19th of October. Then we head over to Fulham for the 10K, 16th of November. Ribble Valley, 28th of December. So what we're going to do now is, for anyone that's still wanting to watch the stream, any of their loved ones or family members crossing the line, we're going to put that stream back up, so you will be able to see the finish line of this event. But for me and Cam in the studio, Cam, it's been a struggle at times today, but we've got through it. And again, I want to thank you for taking the time to come into the studio and shed some pearls of wisdom. So thanks for that, Cam.
I'd say they did. But anyway, yeah, no, thanks so much for having me, guys. I love coming back here, and you know, it's always usually some good races that we put on, and I'm looking forward to the next one. I think that the next one's going to be it's arguably our flagship in Jarrow. I think it's going to be, you know, it's always fireworks there, so I'm looking forward to that one. I'll be watching that one from America, sadly, or maybe I'll be travelling back for that. I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows? So we'll give a big shout out to our sponsor, Beat It Sport, and we're going to play a little advert from them. But from me and Cam in the studio, it's been a pleasure, and we hope you've enjoyed what streams and parts of the race you did manage to see today. But from me and Cam in the studio, thanks, and hopefully you'll join us on our next stream.
Well done to all of you. There is Morgan Lap. Well done, Buddy and Paul. Argentina, well done, Ads. Congratulations to James Henry and Russell Moore. Harriers there. We'll have more finishes not all that finish line. Well done to Liam. Well done to Sarah. Congratulations to Wayne and Ben. Congratulations, William. Michael Everett there. More and more Half Marathon finishers coming over the line. Let's make sure we make some noise of them, please. Well done to Frankie, well done to Martin. Daniel Parker of Manchester Road Runners. Sarah King of Altrincham, fantastic time there, Sarah.
Rob.
Rob Sullivan, well done to Matt. These two runners. Very tired faces coming down the finishing straight now. Let's make some noise for them, everybody. Well done, Ryan and Joe. Well done to Josh. Well done, Rob and Jim. Livestream. Well done to Chris, well done to Matt. Well done Rory Smith. Well done Ben, well done Andrew. Harriet. Well done, Gareth. Here we go, doing it for the Tolton runners. Well done to Jenny Clark there. Well done, Jenny. Well done, Niall and Oliver. For everybody to come over to that finishing line, make sure you take it all in. You have worked so hard for this today. Taking that applause, soaking it all up, you've earned it. Well done to Steve and Lucy.
Thank you, Hello. And let's go.
Well done to Andy Blackburn of Dragon's Sail. Here we go, we've got the senior finish. Well done to Charlie there. Well done everybody, keep pushing, that finish line is inside. George taking that.
Oh,
Well done, slide to that line, everybody. Let's bring them home all together, make some noise. Carry on, Steve. Well done, Steve. Well done to Declan Miller. Harry Herman. Harry Barner. Joe Purcell. Well done to Marcus Lloyd and Fraser. Well done to Helen Taylor. Come on guys, bring it on, this is what it's all about, well done. Last few steps, there we go, well done. Well done to James Dixon there. More and more of our athletes coming up over the finishing line. They're working so hard for this today. Well done to James Weatherall. More and more finishers coming over that finishing line now. Well done to Dave Shepherd, Scott Reynolds. David Lawmaker. Hold it then. Come on, Shepherd, I'm running off tonight. Finishing strong is what it's all about, and you are doing that here today. Well done to really fantastic finish there. Congratulations, Sam. Pushing to the right to the end. Congratulations to Catherine Bradley. Congratulations to Sam Norris. Well done to each and every one who's come through this finishing line now. More and more of our finishers are coming through. And as more finishers come through the line, our presentations have started over by the main stage for our elite runners. Well done to John Foley, Steve Turk. Well done Chris Simmons. Congratulations to Claire Peace. done everybody, come on, you've got this. Let's make some noise for our next finishers. Congratulations, Alison Grant, Tom Clark, New Valentine, over the finishing line. From Ruth Murdoch. Well done everybody, coming down the finishing line is bringing it home in style, just remember that. You've worked so hard for this over those weeks of training. Today is the day that it all pays off. To Ross, Tommy, Max, Peter, Stephen. Oh. Chris, Nick, James, Robert, over that finishing line now. Well done to Jennifer, come on. Here goes Nick from right now, 140 pacer over the line. Well done to James, Tom, Jamie, Nicholas. Well done guys, keep pushing to that finishing line, you've worked so hard for it. Hall in Jenkins, Michael Thomas. Well done to Mark, James and Jacob. Over that finishing line, let's make some noise for our next week finishers, Cheshire. Well done to Jennifer. Remember running to keep them up to that finishing line, make sure you smile for our very own photographer. Big smiles out here today, you have made it over that finish line. Very well done to you all. Well done Nigel, Neil. Well done Jake. Well done Francesca. Well done to Holly. Well Well, Matthew Armstrong, brilliant finisher, just under the magic 1 hour 43. Well done, Holly, Matthew, Jacqueline, Joe and Ethan. Well done, everybody, keep pushing now, you're on that final straight. Let's make some noise for our next couple of runners, Cheshire. The finish line is inside, make sure you're smiling for your picture. You have
Come on, Danny!
very well done.
Danny!
Well done to Bill, Danny Bird, Simon. Well done, Robson. Well done to Holly, Abby. More and more finishes come up to that line. Let's see who gets over that 1 hour 45. Well done, everyone. This is your time. This is your moment. Make sure you push hard now. Well done to Ben, Jack, Simon. Well done to Kiko. Well done, Craig. Well done, everybody. You've earned this today. Make sure you're smiling as you come over that finishing line. There's no greater feeling like it, I promise. We'll look at the live stream now, guys, and you're all that line. Very well done to you three. Well done to Richard, Matthew, Ryan. Well done to Simon and Alan. So Laura Francis, Andy Murray. It's coming up to that 1 hour 1:46 now. Push hard, everyone. Over the line in style. Well done, Jordan, Scott, and Darren. Well done to Charlie and Carl. Well done to Megan. Well done to Jade, Braden, Fashion Fit. Well done, Eden. Come on, everybody, 1:47 is inside. Let's make some noise. Let's do it hard. Well done, Charlotte, Daniel, Kevin, Melanie. All smashing out here today. Well done to Jack. So amazing times coming on this one right now. Make sure you soak it all in. This is what it is all about. Congratulations to Scott and Maya and Louis. Over the finishing line, let's make some noise. More and more of our finishers coming over the line now. Let's see who dips under that 150 barrier. Well done to Daniel, Christopher, Pat, Ian, Aidan, Will. We've all smashed it out here today. One of Ignacio. Congratulations, Liam, Dan, Sarah, Andrew. Come on, Cheshire, it's now time for you to do your part. Let's bring them home, please. We have 1 minute 30 left till our 1 hour 50 mark. Let's make some noise. Well done to Helen, John. Well done, Emily. Congratulations, Becky. Well done, Richard, Daniel, James, Joyce. Sean, David, Eloise. Well done, Will, John, Liam, Nick, and Tom. Well done to Jen Campbell. Well done, Katie, Darren, and Stephen. We are coming up to it now, Cheshire. We have 30 seconds to that 1 hour 50 mark. Let's make some noise, let's bring them home in style. You guys have smashed it out here today. Here we go, 10 seconds on the clock. Work so hard for this, bring it home. Quick line to the clock, what a mighty effort over the line. Congratulations to Paul, Trevor, George, Abigail, Missy, David, Louis, congratulations, Richard. On to Abby and Jacob. More of our finishers coming over that line, some tired faces, but we've all done it together. Well, it's Chloe, Olivia, Chris, Nick. Really well done to Phil and Harry. Great job out there today. What happens to winning their races? Well done to Ben. Huge congratulations as well, good. William, Sarah over the line too. And yeah, if you did miss it, so our winning athletes at both races have run the fastest ever half marathon at a RunThrough race. Now, when you think we've been going for 10 years and we've got like 350 events a year now, to have the 2 fastest ever times on the same day by the male and the female athletes is pretty incredible, both obviously course records as well. Over 3:35 the male course records and around that 1:13 mark in the female course records. On to Will, Grant, Rosie, Pat, Becky, Katie, and Louise all over the line. Congratulations to Adam Groves. Well done, Adam. Well done to Lucy, Daniel, Rebecca. Congratulations, and thanks for talking to so many members of the RunThrough team here as well. It has been pretty central out there today. We had like 3 or 4 of the team from the North office, the Manchester office running out there today, and I think all 4 of them have not picked in, so under cruise conditions wise what it's been like. I think even if you waited for somebody who's hoping to run a specific time, it's had a very good chance of doing that here today. I wanted to thank you for town. Congratulations, Davis. There's Chris here as well, congratulations to you. Martinez, well done Martinez. Well, it's Stuart, congratulations to you, buddy. Really well done out there today. Dominic, Conway and Owen. You sit there, you've done an amazing job, you sit back. Reminder, our RunThrough recovery zone is open, so if you do need to go and kickstart that recovery, head over to RunThrough and the recovery zone, and give yourself a little bit of a float roll. We've got plenty of stuff going on there as well. Well, to John, Tim, Will, Brody and Leah. Really well done to all of you for racing out there today. Smashing your time to Ellie, well done to you, Ellie. I love that. Running that hard enough to the weight on the side as well. On a take 8th day, Ellie Chilton. Congratulations to Chris and Harry Clegg. Well done as we welcome back in Sarah, Cole, Paula, Donna, all over the line. All of these athletes running sub 1:55, well below that mark. Some of them have had an amazing race, been looking for sub 2 and got really below that time. As you see Amy and Jude and Ben, Tariq, Rosie, Jordan, Safi as well. Congratulations to you, Safi. Great running by Michael. Congratulations, Michael. Rosie, really well done, Rosie. Tariq is doing an amazing job out there today. Congratulations to James. To Dylan Jack. Congratulations, buddy. There we are, more and more athletes coming over the line. Completing their races here today. Nice little group there working together to get it done. Darren, Debbie, Sean, Samantha. That is what you'll start seeing as we come up to those specific times, about 1:55, about 2, about 1:05. There'll be groups of athletes together who've been helping each other to get to and over the line out there today. Really well done, Oliver, Sadie, Megan, and Mike. Well, it's Archie. Congratulations to you, Archie. To William, Richard and Archie, congratulations to you. This is Oliver. More athletes set over the line. What a legend crossing the line now. Hand in hand our next 2 finishers. That is what it's all about. To Daniel, John, Rob, congratulations. Want to take Lee over the line there as well. Natasha Wilson, Charlotte Moss, Francesca. Want to you, Francesca. And we welcome more and more athletes over the line. There is Adam and Lara, Debbie and Will. Congratulations. Word to Mick. There is Kate Bliss too and Kev. Congratulations all. A reminder, we have like 350 events across the country now, and it'll be amazing to have you got another one. Another RunThrough event. Looking to here, we've got some amazing ones coming up. One to Jen, Erin, Kate, Kev, Ashley. At the beginning of October, we have got Everton 10K, which is the first time we're doing that race. We're doing it for a fast 10K, starting and finishing outside the stadium, along the docks. That is going to be a fantastic race. We're at Tatton Park every month, and then we've got a big special Tatton Park weekend coming up in the next couple of months as well, with a different 10K course and a half marathon course. Eaton Park as well, we're there 4 or 5 times a year, as well as like other flagship events. Last week was Ultimate 10K, which was spectacular. Confirmed again for 2026. So if you want a good 10K, We had 5,000 people on the street walking last week, and we're going to have a new part of that next year. Enter up ready for the UK. Rapid Carrot, Tim, Tom, Reese, Peter, Hannah. Also, if you're a podcast listener, we've got a lot of podcasts on RunThrough. We've got Dog Running, amazing podcast with some kind of athletes, people with amazing stories, influencer space as well. You'll recognise a lot of names. It's fantastic. Dog Running. We've got the Top 5 podcast as well. We're just on December 18th. Ending the day of the sport. You were informed by the front of the race. Back to Omar Ahmed, Capesthorne Hall, got in the record team today. Right to Tom, Darren, Joe, Ellie, Sean, Darren, Catherine, Ali, we've got the ring. Good Trails podcast as well, and Double Station podcast. So, plenty of podcasts to subscribe to right now. That's Darren, Richards, Arif, Colin, Andrew, Darren. Really well done to all of you. As we come close to that 2 hour mark, but we're not there yet, which means all of these athletes will be below 2 hours. A lot of them will be trying to do that out there today. Well, it's Kelly, Robert, Ellie and Olivia. Well, it's Phoebe, Catherine, Jessica, Steve. Well, it's James. Congratulations to Laura and Liv as well. Congratulations to George and Jake. Really well done. David and Stephen. Well, it's Owen, Haley, Laura, Daniel, congratulations to you. There's Julia, James as well, congratulations James. And we continue to welcome more athletes back in. There's Tara, Chloe, Donna Martin. Liam Thomas, congratulations to you. Well, it's Jamie as well. Congratulations, Jamie. And it's Lewis, Helen, and Aidan all over the line. Well done, guys. As we welcome more faces back in, it's going to be cheer. Our 2 hour pace group, let's queue in there, RunThrough legends. Well, it's James, Hannah, Helen. All over the line there as well, and as we welcome more and more athletes back in, coming over the bridge, taking that right hand turn, coming into the shadow of Capesthorne Hall, straight down to the line to finish here at Cheshire Half, always one of the best races for the year. Celebrate Hamilton everywhere here, and we're doing this again, RunThrough.co.uk, Jacob, Rachel, Hasif, David, Dave, Chelsea and Claire, there's Paula over the line as well. Or colour coordination, you have to love it. The outfits are matching, the time's probably at 2, there's probably a second in it. Sophie and Josie Penfold. Well, it's a Nick and Rebecca over by. Congratulations, guys. goes our next athlete. Over the line we had Ben Watts, Adam, there's Rochelle and Nicola there too. Congratulations. Here comes our next few athletes. Congratulations. That is Sarah, Michelle and Hannah. One is John, Nick. Congratulations, Jacob as well and Amelia. One is Felicity. Congratulations, Daniel and Paul. More of our athletes coming over the line. And we continue to say well done.
Well done! Well done!
Fantastic running. Nice little fan group over there as well. Barry, Will and George, congratulations. And we continue to send more athletes over the line. David, Matthew, Beck. Come on, Cheshire, give these athletes a cheer as they come to the line. Let's make some noise for our athletes as they come up to the line. Give them a big cheer, a big hand. They've done an amazing job out there today, and they're all coming in to complete their races. Fantastic running, everybody. Alicia, there's George, Declan, James, Gina, Anthony, Ella, and Claire over the line. Well, it's a Phoebe. Tom and Stuart, James. Here we go, more athletes coming up to and over the line. Really well done there, Lisa, Emma, Charlie, Jordan, Imogen, Thomas. Well, it's a Leslie, Rebecca over the line too. Congratulations to you. What a day it's been here in the Cheshire Half. So good to have all of you with us here today. Well, it's a David, Robert, Alice, Paul, and James. Congratulations to all of you. Oh, I love to see it.
Well done!
Well done. For the future there. Well, it's Charlotte, Benjamin, David, Robert, and Alice all finishing their race too. Well, to Charlotte, Connor, congratulations to both of you as well. And as we welcome more athletes up and over the line, well done to Benjamin, well done to Paul. Congratulations, Paul. There's Imogen Sherry, well done to you, Imogen. And we say well done to Leah Hughes as well. Well done, Leah. Alex, Paul and Benjamin. Amazing running there by David and Paul. Congratulations, David. There's Philly and Ben. Congratulations, Rebecca. Really well done, Rebecca. John Lewis, well done, John. And we continue to welcome more athletes back in. Well done as well to Rebecca, Lily, Lee, and Lucy Bryan. Well done to Liv, Rihanna and Lucy. Samuel Owen. Congratulations to Niall Ryan. Congratulations, mate. Our next two finishers coming over the line. Amazing work. You've done amazingly. Huge congratulations. There's SB1 and SB Mark. Really as well as the line. And it's a Sophie. Well, Sophie. Congratulations, Soph. Megan, Tammy and Troy over the line. Well done. Congratulations, guys. Well done to Alicia. And to Karen. Really well done, guys. Wonderful running out there today. So good to have you with us. David, Rosie. There's Dave Cartwright too. There's Harriet, Swallow Harriet. Congratulations, Harriet. What I took Amina Al-Shaz. Emma Clark. Good for you. There's Grace, Catherine, James as well. Congratulations. What a Michael. Mike, brilliant running out there today. Olivia Boone. Karen Hall. To Katrina, Melissa, Jamie and Olivia too. Alexander, Alison, Henry, Richards. Well, it's a Robert, Mark, Jonah, Sarah, James. Congratulations, Mary. Well, it's a Kirsty. Well, it's a Jamie, Samuel, there is Sam as well, congratulations. Remember, we do have our Baltimore recovery zone. Baltimore are our official payment partners here at RunThrough. So if you do want to go and get yourself on the phone roller, get yourself ready to rock and roll for next week, you can go to the Baltimore recovery zone. And say well done to Sean, Ryan, Jamie, Victoria, Samuel, Matthew and Adam, congratulations. There is Angel, Julia, well done to you as well, Julia.
Yes, on the
There is Chris and Zoe, Wendy, well done to you. Well done to Amanda, congratulations Amanda. Charlotte as well, big well done Charlotte. You continue to say well done to more and more athletes. Ellie. There is Isabel as well over the line, congratulations. Reminding you to have our RunThrough photo awards as well. Please share one of those, please share it with us at RunThrough UK. Drop some tag. Eddie, David, Laura, Gareth and Tilly. Well done to Amy, Jason, congratulations to both of you. Congratulations. We've got to Eve, Ella, Star, there's Jake, Mark and Oliver, congratulations. Well done to Jake, Heather, really well done. And as we welcome more and more athletes back into the finish line, we say well done to Adam, Alicia, Ursula, Rebecca, Jake as well, Sophie over line, Victoria Hughes, Michelle Hillier, well done to you, Michelle. Well, Ellie, Ruby, Beth, Miriam, George, Grace. Congratulations as well. And Terrell, well done to you. And to Demi as well, congratulations. Well, Elise, congratulations to Elise. As you welcome more and more athletes over the line. Fantastic running by each and every one of them. Thank you, spectators, and fancy. Lady, come and join us at the venue itself. As they say, RunThrough.co.uk. Get yourself into that, we can put it come down. Down up wherever to be fair. There's so many races right across the country now. You can join us wherever you would like to. Well done to Amanda, Deb, Lizzie, Diane, Cy, David. Really well done. Congratulations to Lincoln, Rick, David. Lucy Brown over the line, well done Lucy. As we welcome back in Alfie, Jock as well, congratulations Jock. We've got next 3 athletes, 4, 5, 6. On to Beckham. Jade and Stephanie, well done to both of you. Double thumbs up for our next finisher over the line. Sophie Skelly, Rachel Wilson and Kate Wilder there too. Well done guys. In the Cheshire Capesthorne Hall, we see Benjamin Ashfield, Nathan Bell as well. Congratulations Nathan, Philip Davis. Congratulations Philip. And we see Suzanne Bogart. Isabel, player, well done Isabel. We'll go to Jessica Burton. Congratulations, Jessica. Congratulations to Jana, Amy, Elizabeth. Congratulations to Anna and Tosh. Oh, God. Really well done to Connor Smith, Kai and Charlotte. We're back there too. Well done to Anna, congratulations to you and Laura. Well done to Ellie, Christine. Charlotte, Anthony, Siobhan. Really well done to Riley, congratulations Riley. Well done to Charlotte, Anthony, Maisie. Congratulations Charlotte as well, as you see. Ruth, over the line, congratulations Ruth, for wonderful running out there today. There is Laura and Sadie. Congratulations as well. As Ben crosses the line, well done Ben. Well done Megan Evans. Congratulations Megan. Well done to Donnie Walsh. Congratulations Donnie. As well then, Melissa, Holly, Danny, Megan, and Charlotte, Brooklyn, the line. Really well done there to Kelly, Stephen, Jessica, Lucy, Charlotte. There's Manny and Kelly too. Really well done there to Jessica. As you welcome more and more athletes over the line here at Cheshire Half. Get a very envious of all the medals floating around here. Always a beautiful medal, this Cheshire Half medal. And yes, you want to come join us at another RunThrough events, ones I can recommend moving forward. And we're going to be doing everything 10K for the first time in a couple of weeks. And starting and finishing outside the stadium, the new stadium. Which will be really fun. Well done Helen, Brett, Lucia, Lara, as well over the line. Also, we've got a big weekend at Chatham Park coming up with that every month. Actually, we've got a special weekend in November. With a half marathon with a different 10K course. We're back in Houston soon too. Yeah, just loads of events right across the country. Jordan Brooks, Duncan, Lucy Brown, Amelia. To Nicola, Laura, Becky, Stephen, Mark, and Nicole, well done to you. And goes on next few athletes. Let's go, Benny. Really well done, mate. Congratulations for getting that done, right in and out. Smash that. Rebecca Mercer, Rebecca Atkinson, Nicola there as well with Daniel and Will over the line. Yes, we've got a fan club. Nicola, Danny, Amy, all over the line there. Nicola Howard. Well done to you, Nicola. Congratulations to each and every athlete. Over the line. As we continue to welcome more finishers back in. Brilliant stuff. There's actually the live stream going on off the finish line. Online right now, so you go and see yourself. Or if you want to direct the finish to a loved one. You actually send them that stream, as I say, which is online. You can see the finish over the Cheshire Half right now, live on our YouTube channel. Well, it's Natalie, Hannah, Dan as well over the line. Well, it's Lucia, Michael and Liam. Ben, congratulations to you, Ben. Really well done to Tony, Danielle and Eric. Well, it's Ian and Rachel, Kylie. Congratulations to you, Kylie. By the way, I do have both a debit card and a wallet. So if anyone has lost a debit card or a wallet, well, somebody has lost a debit card and a wallet separately. So yeah, I've got it in the start finish line. So if you have lost a debit card or wallet, then I've got both at the start finish line. Again, separately.
Shoot!
Well, then to Denise, Charlotte, David, Carly and Liam. Really well done to you. Well, it's Matt, Alex and Holly. Once again, if you've lost a debit card or a wallet, I've got it in the start finish line. The wallet was left in the toilet, apparently. Well, it's Bella and Nats. Congratulations. Over the line, and we're all in there, 2 Lord Jeffers. Congratulations. It's Nicola Milton. Really well done, Nicola. To Ryan, Tracy and Lindsay, and Bella's over the line there too, congratulations. Congratulations to Anna, great running out there today, Anna. Remind you, we do have our Volta-on recovery zone if you need to go get yourself your legs rolled down post-racing today so you can get back up to training. There are official payment you can't hear a RunThrough Volta-on. You can see Charlotte, Sonia and Ross all over the line. Congratulations to Zoe. Brilliant work. You welcome more runners into the finish line. Let's go, guys, you've got this. Fantastic stuff. Congratulations, Zoe, Adam, Gil Gardner, running Gil. And we've also got Jim and Ben and Laura and Martin all over the line. Fantastic running, everybody. What a day this video this morning at Capesthorne Hall. The Cheshire Half Marathon. I tell you what, we have had some very quick times, I'm sure. For a lot of you as well, you will smash PBs out there today. We had the fastest ever half marathon at a RunThrough race. We've been going like 10 years for the male and female race. So the fastest ever male time at a RunThrough race, 23:39. Same. And then the fastest female time ever at a RunThrough race, 1:13.29.5, which was probably time called debut today. Incredible run. Right, the 8th quarter, waiting for James Stone. Congratulations to you, James. Michael Samantha Ritton. Brilliant running, everybody. Fantastic work by all of you. Samantha, James, Megan Cooper. Also over the line with William Taylor. Maddie, congratulations, Maddie. Maddie, Samantha. Done an amazing job out there today, Samantha. As we continue to welcome more and more athletes over the line to complete their races here today. We've got the flowers out over here, you love to see it. Let's go, guys! Who are you waiting for? Your mum. What's your mum called? Laura. Wonderful, we'll make sure to get some special sandwich friends here. Let's go, Laura! You got it! You got some flowers waiting for you here, Laura! Coming up 2 and over the line! Laura coming to finish your race here today! Really well done, Laura, as you see Hannah and Sue. And where there's Linda there too! And there's Laura, let's go! Congratulations! Cheers! Plenty of love for all of these athletes coming up to the line. You've all done a wonderful job here today at Cheshire Half. And an improvement. Yes. Welcome, Renee. Cycle channel. So that's what I'm going to stop right now. Just keep there. Reminder, if you do get an event t-shirt, the RunThrough kit stand is where you pick that up. As we continue to wait for more athletes. A reminder. Terry, Jake, Neil and Laura. Well, it's a Catherine, Brian as well as the line. Well, it's a Lizzie and Abby, congratulations. Well, it's Lawrence, Ricky, Catherine, May, Lizzie, Abby and Tony. Yeah, if anybody's lost a wallet or a debit card, we've got one of them. And also if anybody's got an earphone, like a wireless earphone, please do bring it to me at the start finish line. Well, it's a Megan, Jenny and Lisa, as you welcome more finishers in and over the line. We've done an amazing job out there today. The best thing about this now is you can go home, enjoy your Sunday. Nice big roast steak, a couple of glasses of wine or beers, depending if that's what you fancy, if you're that way inclined, definitely. Enjoy yourself. Shane, Kelly, Emily and Megan over the line. Stacey Chambers as well, well done to you. As we continue to welcome more and more athletes up and over the line in the Cheshire Half today. Megan Cooper, John Turner, I love that all together. Congratulations guys, Jonathan Bridget, Kevin Scott, Sarah, amazing job out there today. One and two, Leonie, T and Alicia. One and two, Caitlin and Rob. To Megan, the t-shirt as well. Congratulations, the t-shirt. Andrew Martin, Caitlin, and Rob Meadows. Congratulations. As you are put more finishes in. Completing their races here today. Going to Liam Pierce. And Liam and Olivia as well. Ellie Paul, well done to you, Ellie. And our next couple of runners. Keep away running vests, love that. Matching running vests over the line on the girls. Charlotte and Maggie there. Congratulations. You're welcome. Anna back into the finish line there too. Those four more runners. Wrapping up their races today. They've done an amazing job. There's Anna, Megan, Tim, well done to you, Tim. Let's go guys, you've got this, great running. Well done to Michael, Sharon, Steve and Tim. Congratulations to Maura and Chris. And Nathan as well. Over the line. So next pacer, over the line, our 2:30 pace group. Got the food done as well. Love it. A reminder, if you want to find out more about pacing, the credit you get from pacing or volunteering, RunThrough.co.uk, do a little search up there. Put the join us at the event very, very soon. If you're wonderful to have you as part of the team. As you see, Megan, Chloe, Daniel, Brian, Joe, all over the line recently. And our next finisher, finishing here at Vets here today. Jem, well done, Jem. There's our next finisher. Shout out to Colombo Club. Yes, Richards. Well done, buddy. To Richard, Mark and Sam. There's four more finishes coming out to the line here at Cheshire Half here today. Through those great flags from our amazing partners here at RunThrough. As you see Helen and Sarah and Sam. With the Helen, Gemma, Sarah and Helen, congratulations to both of you. To Reese, Anna, Tara, really well done to you.
I just turned it down.
Well to Sam, Sarah, Helen, Tamara, Reese, really well done to both of you. Four more athletes coming in and over the line. You've done brilliantly out there today. You've done brilliantly out there today. Wonderful running by each and every one of you. Fantastic stuff. As you welcome more athletes coming up to the line and over the line. Brilliant to have all of you with us here today. Great work. Here we got our next few athletes coming up to the line. And four more runners. Emma and Ryan, Rob and Russell. David. in the shadow of Capesthorne Hall. What a day it's been here today. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Brilliant how each and every one of you here. Here's our next couple of athletes over the line. Wonderful running both. Thank you so much for joining us here today. There is Brooke, Karina and Steve recently finishing. We're to Alice and Ella. Really well done as we welcome our next few finishers in the shadow of Capesthorne Hall here at Cheshire Half. Really well done, Alice, Ella, Brooke. Remember, all of the photos being taken here today are also available to you for free later on. You don't have to pay for any of the photos or pay any extra additional costs. Just head over to the website, runthrough.co.uk. You'll be able to grab all your photos from up there. As I say, you'll be able to grab all your photos from runthrough.co.uk. Also, highlights videos are on the websites, on YouTube bloggers, just search RunThrough on YouTube. Also up there right now, actually, the finish line is streaming. So the whole finish line is being streamed up on the YouTube channel. You can see that, so see yourself. Later on, I'm going to watch back on the big screen, why not? Congratulations to you. We also got Laura and Claire with Alice over the line too. Right to Natalia, Kirsty, Shannon, and our next few athletes over the line too. One is James, Abigail, Stephen. One is Lucy, Harry, James over the line too. So good, so have so many finishes here today, smashing their goals. It was quick out there. We have lots of running, lots of people finishing the rest as well. One to Laura and Lucy, finishing here today. To Michael, and our next finisher over the line there too. The Cleveland also over the line. Congratulations to you. Well, it's a Sophie Sedgwick. We have Laura Gore as well. Bradley Green, congratulations Bradley. Our next few runners coming up to the line very shortly, just over the bridge, taking that right hand turn. Those up next few athletes coming out to the line. Great stuff, guys. Well, Chloe, congratulations, Chloe. Riley and Becca Gilroy, well done, Becca. Well done to Becca, Alistair. Well, to Anna Thompson, Jill Hughes as well over the line for the Nantwich Running Club. Here goes Alan. Let's go, buddy. His 98th marathon, over the half marathon, I believe. And he's coming over the line in the V70 category. Well done, mate. Huge congratulations, Alan. Also, Steph Jackson over the line there too. Maisie Kearney, well done, Maisie. Congratulations to you. Well, it's a Grace White. Congratulations, Grace. Well, it's a Chia, Rachel and Lauren. Well, it's a Jessica. Congratulations to you, Jessica. Recently come over the line. As 4 more athletes coming to finish their race here today, coming rounds that right hand bend over the bridge and under the gantry very shortly. Amazing running, everybody. Well done to Cheshire Hazel, recently finishing 2. Let's go, guys, you've got this. Fantastic running out there today. Here we go, our next athlete coming under the gantry and over the line. Really well done. Huge congratulations to our next few athletes completing their races here today. There is Rachel. Congratulations, Rachel. A reminder, if you are leaving us, drive safe on the amazing rest of your day. Thank you for joining us here today. Well, to Rachel and Tony Woods. Let's go, guys, you've got this. Here comes our next few runners. Cruising back to the line in the shadow of Capesthorne Hall. We've got 4 or 5 more in our vision here now. Big walk. Loads of really beautiful runners coming us to the line very shortly. Great running, everybody. Let's go, guys, you've got this. to Jane, Olivia as well. It looks like 3 athletes around the corner. In fact, we've got a couple of finishers spotted. Our next athlete coming up to the line. In a bit, through the gateway, and here is our next finisher. Stop it or what? She crosses the line. Wonderful work out there today. Our next group of runners. Coming down to the line, that was Chloe Wallace there. And it's our next 3. Great stuff, everybody. 3 more athletes in and over the line. Completing their races here today. John and James Hazelton. Because our next athletes finishing their race here today, in fact, one support another. Huge well done there to Stephanie. Well done to you. Look at this. Oh, camera crew. Our next athlete goes out to the line. Social media team running by the sides. Over the gantry, over the line. There's our next finisher. Really well done, Elizabeth. Goes up next to the finishers. Let's go, guys! That's a Ross. Congratulations, Ross. Laura and Wayne over the line too. There's our next finisher, Diane, well done to you. We have Katie there as well, well done Katie, over the line, completing your race here today. Really well done to Megan Day, well done Megan. Let's go Arthur, you've got this buddy. Well done Arthur, over the line, shortly to go. And here comes our next finisher as well. That was Les Davis, well done Les. Congratulations Les, great running out there today, buds. There's our 250 pacer. Once again, if you want to find out about pacing or RunThrough, you can. That's the website. Mark Kento, well done to you, Mark. And there's your next finisher running for Brett Capesthorne now. Over the line, fantastic running out there today, Catherine. is up next, over the finishers, coming up to the line. Great running pace, stopping his watch as he crosses. That was Andy Walker, well done Andy. And to Gemma McDonald, congratulations Gemma. So next two finishers going over the line, our next two in fact. Here they come. Really well done, you two. Congratulations. That was Richard and Lucy Gale. Well, to Robert Moore there, recently finishing as we wait for our next finishers. Here comes our next finisher over the line. Huge congratulations. Really well done there, Chloe. Well done. Here comes our next finisher, coming up to the line. Huge well done to our next two athletes. That is Robert and Chloe, Kathy and Sarah as well. Here comes our next few finishers coming up to the line. Let's go, guys. 4 more. Lined up outside Capesthorne Hall. Let's go, guys. You've got this. Great running by our next 4 athletes. Coming up to and over the line goes our next 2 runners. And in fact, 3, 4 more. 1 and 2, Laurie and Tracy over the line. There is Zoe as well, Danielle. And we've got Amy. Congratulations, Amy. Here comes our next athletes. Coming up to the line, big cheers from the crowd. Great running. Amazing stuff. Huge congratulations as she crosses the line.
Yes.
To finish your race here today. Umara, well done to you.
It's fine. You wait for tails. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just going. How did you find everything? I don't like
To try and technically get
I'm going to have problems.
Let's go, guys, you've got this. Our 3 athletes coming up to the line are nearly there. Let's go, guys. Coming up to complete their races here today. Our next 2 runners, let's go, guys. Over the gantry, over the line. Huge well done, you two.
Well done. Great work.
Massive congratulations.
Great work. Well done.
Our 3-hour pacers. Here comes our next athlete coming up to the line. Make sure she gets plenty of love as she comes up to the finish. Brilliant running out there today. Here she comes. Give her a big cheer. Coming in to complete her race here this morning at Cheshire Half. The shadow of Capesthorne Hall. Wonderful stuff. Super strong finish. Over the dancing, over the line. Let's swallow to you. Our next couple of finishes over the bridge as well. They're going to be cruising up to the line very shortly.
I'll get me back on it, they can see the logo.
set of guys, you've got this. Amazing stuff by next two runners. Fantastic. Andrew Gantry over the line. Wonderful work. Well, out to Georgia and Emily. Congratulations to both of you.
Like for running a marathon with that many in there. I can't remember how many. them.
Here comes our next finisher, coming up to the line. Oh, what an amazing job you've done there today. Under the gantry, over the line, finishing her race. It's really, really well done. Massive congratulations. Here we go, here comes our next athletes. Coming up to the line. You're doing a fantastic job. Let's go, amazing running at Cheshire Half this morning. In the shadow of Capesthorne Hall, here comes our next finisher. As she comes up to the line. Huge congratulations. Under the gantry, over the line. Wonderful stuff. That's right then to you. Here comes our next finisher coming up to the line shortly. Let's go, you've got this, here she comes. Coming up to complete her racing today at Cheshire Half in the shadow of Capesthorne Hall. Here she comes, let's go. You've got this. Wonderful work. Going under the gantry and over the line. Huge congratulations. That is Karen, the women's one, and Karen.
whenever anyway.
Oh, yeah.
That's